national emergency?
I think the House would for sure. I don't know what I would do. I'm open-minded to it being a crisis. The statute is pretty clear that you have to have congressional buy-in. Some people worry about the precedent you set on our side. Whether you could hold all the Republicans, I don't know. Whether you could pick up a Democrat, I doubt it. So at the end of the day, I don't know if this bears fruit statutorily. I'm a pretty hawkish guy on powers of the Commander-in-Chief. You tried to do this under the inherent authority of the Commander-in-Chief under Article 2, saying, you know, I'm the Commander-in-Chief, this is a national security event. I'm going to redirect funding for traditional military functions to border security. I would have a problem with that.
And Sarah Sanders says that this is on the table.
No, I'm concerned about the fact that we have a crisis at the border that we need to solve, and we need Democrats to step up, do their jobs, and work with us to get it done.
Why didn't the president declare a national emergency in his speech?
Something we're still looking at, something that's certainly still on the table.
Well, as you know, he did not declare a national emergency in his speech, but he certainly has the power to do it and may very well do that. More on this when we come back. 888-971-SAGE. I am Larry Elder.
Call in now and join the conversation. 888-971-SAGE. That's 888-971-7243. Setting fire to the airwaves. It's the Larry Elder Show.
Hey everyone, Carrie here. For years, you've heard my husband, Ken,
Hello, Radioland.
explain how Income Store is the place for your next revenue stream. Not to date ourselves, but Ken and I have been helping individuals and businesses grow their revenue since before the internet was even a thing. We've heard countless stories as to why people look to increase their revenue.
Some stories make us laugh, some make us cry.
These stories, combined with our own, have motivated Ken and I to dedicate our lives to help people, as Ken says, who need a revenue shot in the backside.
Whether you want to just learn how or simply put, you need to generate revenue today, our mission is to serve both.
Our worldwide staff of over 150 help to create amazing resources, our most famous being the iTunes podcast.
Today's growth. You got to check out episode 383. It's truly amazing.
And both Inc. and Forbes have shared that when it comes to generating revenue, Income Store is a can't miss. To grow your revenue today, check out IncomeStore.com.
That's IncomeStore.com.
What's happening? What does it mean? Why is it important? We've got the answer. AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
It's a record-tying day. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Day 21 of the partial government shutdown now, as long as the one that ended in 1996.
You know, many of the people that aren't getting their check, they get it. They're going to get it soon.
President Trump, as today was supposed to be the payday for some, others won't get paid in the coming days. It's putting a financial strain on about 800,000 federal workers.
Fund the government and fight about the wall later.
He's in Chicago, one of several places where workers rallied calling for an end to the shutdown, but in Washington there's no end to the standoff.
Well, this is not reality TV. This is reality. Try to act presidential.
Well, Democrats like Senator Patrick Leahy refused to fund a wall. The president says he might declare a national emergency, find the money elsewhere. He went to the border in Texas.
This area of the Rio Grande Valley is one of the busiest border crossings for U.S. law enforcement. President Trump saw displays of weapons and drugs seized by agents before being led on a tour of the border.
This is common sense. They need a barrier. They need a wall. If you don't have it, it's going to be nothing but hard work and grueling problems.
There are some border barriers in this area, fencing, walls, and slats.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern in McAllen. For the third time in 2 days, a police officer has been shot, this time in Davis, California, while responding to a car accident.
During the investigation of the accident, shots were fired. Officer Corona sustained a gunshot injuries and was transported immediately to the UC Davis Medical Center, where she passed.
Davis Police Chief Darren Pytel. Natalie Corona was only 22, just graduated from the academy in July. A 13-year-old Wisconsin girl missing for months has been found, and Jamie Kloss is alive.
Shortly after this, a suspect was taken into custody in regards to the case. You'll remember she went missing in October, the same day both her parents were found murdered in their Barron County home.
Ted Perry with Fox 6 TV. This is Fox News.
In Chicago, we have partly cloudy skies, a chilly 19 degrees. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. On AM 560, The Answer, and the National Weather Service has issued a winter storm watch for parts of central and southern Illinois. As many as 7 inches of snow in that forecast. Weather Service officials say the snow is expected to begin late on Friday. Weather Service forecasters say for us, here in the Chicago area, 1 to 3 inches of snow late Friday into Saturday. Police are investigating allegations that an Evanston Township High School employee may have had inappropriate contact with students. School officials say they learned of the accusations earlier this week. Authorities have not specified the employee's sex or role at the high school or what that inappropriate contact may have involved. A young girl is dead, 2 adults seriously hurt following a horrific crash on Lower Wacker Drive in Chicago. Police say a Mazda hit an Acura while making a U-turn early this morning in the first block of West Lower Wacker Drive. The Mazda then slammed into a wall, causing a girl inside to be thrown from the vehicle. A young girl. Federal workers in Chicago are calling for an end to the partial government shutdown. Several border and customs agents, along with ag employees, took part in that rally in the city's downtown area near the Federal Plaza. Candidate for mayor of Chicago, Toni Preckwinkle, is defending a campaign ad that highlights her role in exposing the Laquan McDonald police shooting. Cook County Board president yesterday had to defend the ad, saying she used her power to release the black teen's autopsy to expose a cover-up in the case.
It was the release of the autopsy report to the family and to the activists and to the folks who were suing to get the videotape released that made it possible for us to know the truth about Laquan McDonald's murder.
However, community activists and other mayoral candidates, including at that time Chief of Police Gary McCarthy, are blasting Preckwinkle, accusing her of taking too much credit for any role that she may have played. Critics also claim she's using that ad to distract her from major connections to embattled Alderman Ed Burke, who is casting a long shadow on the mayoral race. The criminally charged 14th Ward Alderman was a major topic of conversation during a Channel 9 hosted mayoral forum last night at Steinmetz High School. Several candidates were asked directly about their ties to Burke. Those include State Comptroller Susana Mendoza and City Hall veteran Gary Chico. Cook County Board President Toni Preckwinkle did not take part in that forum. Prosecutors in Chicago continue to urge anyone with claims of sexual assault against R&B singer R. Kelly to come forward. The call to action comes after the Lifetime series Surviving R. Kelly, in which several women say the Grammy Award-winning singer sexually assaulted them and held them as slaves. Alice Carey says her daughter Azriel was an aspiring singer who went to live with Kelly the day she graduated from high school.
Literally, soon as she turned 18, it was like communication started dying and dwindling.
In 2008, Kelly was tried and acquitted in Chicago of having sex with an underage girl. Former Northwest suburban state lawmaker is released on bond following charges that he shared nude photographs of 2 women online without their consent. Nick Sowers surrendered to Lake County sheriffs yesterday morning. 2 men are wounded following a drive-by shooting on Chicago's South Side. Victims standing near 50th and South Drexel yesterday when someone in a dark-colored vehicle opened fire. Developers of a $50 million data center that is under construction in northwest Indiana say they've secured full financing for the project's first phase. Now, you'll recognize where this data center is being built. The Digital Crossroads site along the Lake Michigan shoreline is inside of a former coal-fired power plant that sits along Lake Michigan in Hammond. A diehard Northwestern basketball fan who's gained a little bit of notoriety for her loud screaming will be a lot more quiet at games now. Emily Harriet is president of the official NU student section, who became known as the Shrieker for her high-pitched wails during NU basketball games. However, NU officials have asked her to tone it down during games after receiving some complaints from fans in the arena and television and radio partners over the weekend. Harriet says, for now, she'll comply with the request. Xavier Simpson had 16 to lead number 4 Michigan to a decisive win over Illinois at the State Farm Center, 79-69. In other college basketball, UIC topped Youngstown State. Western defeated by North Dakota State. In the Valley, Illinois State tomorrow travels to Loyola, while Southern hosts Valparaiso. Bulls continue their 5-game road trip tonight against the defending champion Warriors. Blackhawks host Las Vegas tomorrow night. And the Bears continue their search for a candidate to replace former defensive coordinator Vic Fangio. Chicago has interviewed defensive backs coach Ed Donatel, who's been with the Bears since 2015. The news service of La Quinta Inns and Suites. If you're traveling for work, make your next stop La Quinta by Wyndham. Their spacious rooms and free high-speed internet makes it easy to work, while their comfortable beds and bright-side breakfast make it easy to relax. Win at business wherever you go. Book at LQ.com. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
President Trump will deliver his second State of the Union address on Tuesday, January 29th. And to mark the occasion, AM 560, The Answer, is throwing a party. It's a taste of freedom. A State of the Union viewing party presented by HealthInsuranceMentors.com at Belvedere Banquets in Elk Grove Village. Enjoy dinner and drinks as you watch the speech with fellow AM 560 listeners. Tickets are on sale now for just $64 at 560theanswer.com/taste. Sponsored in part by StoreLock.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Psst, Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
If you're not pleased with your child's progress this school year, now's the time to consider enrolling your son or daughter in St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. With an ongoing enrollment program, it's never too late. For years, St. John's Northwestern Military Academy has served young men and is now an excellent co-ed environment. Not a school for troubled kids, but one that will prepare young men and women for college by focusing on rigorous academics and leadership with a safe, secure, and structured environment free from distractions that's conducive to successful learning. St. John's Northwestern Military Academy in the beautiful Lake Country region of southeast Wisconsin inspires personal growth through a commitment to excellence in academics, spiritual and character development, athletics, and their military traditions. Find out more about St. John's Northwestern Military Academy ongoing enrollment. Call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET. Or visit their website, sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
Peloton is a game-changing indoor cycling bike that brings the energy of live studio classes right to your home anytime you want. Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com or visit your local showroom.
511, a check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. And here is Jim Talamonte.
In downtown Chicago, Lower Wacker Drive remains shut down between Michigan Avenue and Post Place, which is west of Wells. The major wreck happened overnight before 1:30 this morning. I-57 inbound, we're seeing roadwork delays all state of the merge. Construction is wrapping up about 18 minutes from I-80 to the Ryan. Bishop Ford, just a little congestion approaching Ryan Expressway. The ride itself looks okay. There is some outbound roadwork, 87th to Split. 3 left lanes are closed until 6 o'clock. Edens, fine. Kennedy, reversibles have opened inbound. We see no delays. The Eisenhower and the Stevenson look good. No problems to report right now on the tollways or in northwest Indiana. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, more clouds than sun. Look for a high of 36. Cloudy with a bit of snow toward dawn. Tonight, little or no accumulation, low 28. Cloudy with some snow tomorrow. Accumulations up to an inch. The high tomorrow at 33. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
In Chicago, 18 degrees officially at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 5:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So President Trump did a little press avail before heading down to the border yesterday. And he was asked this question. Pain with respect to the shutdown.
Financial pain?
Human pain. Here's what the president had to say about what about the human pain, Mr. President? You know, those furloughed federal workers.
Well, you know who has more human pain? The parents of people who had children killed by an illegal immigrant that should have never been in the country. You know who has more human pain? The husband that lost the wife, or the wife that lost the husband to an illegal immigrant that came in 5 or 6 times that shouldn't be here. That's the human pain. And the people that will be paid, but maybe a little bit later, those people, many of them are on my side. They want to see border security. And by the way, NBC may be the most dishonest reporters of all time.
Well, a lot of competition for that title. Yeah, let's talk about human pain, because I know for many, the data is unpersuasive. And the common sense nature, the logic of the position to include a barrier as part of border security is irrelevant to them, because all they focus on is the sentimentality and the anecdotes offered by the left.
Well, there were a number, of rallies yesterday all across the country, even in Chicago, Atlanta, from people, TSA, DEA, some FBI agents, even Secret Service agents who are supposed to protect the president are not getting a paycheck today.
On behalf of more than 61,000 pilots of the Airline Pilots Association, we stand in solidarity with you.
But Bill Stifler, Bill Stifler's air traffic controller, his wife is pregnant.
We have the mortgage, car loan, cell phone, electric, gas, the utilities. It's, and then now we don't have what it's going to cost us now, once the baby's here.
And the baby, that NBC News put an ultrasound picture up of the baby. I'm not kidding you.
I really couldn't be any worse timing, because we want to be focusing on bringing the baby home and not worrying about when and if he's going to get paid.
It's a good example of why President Trump suggested NBC might be the most dishonest of them all in the D.C. press corps. And it's a prime example of what I'm talking about. Thank you for giving form to it.
But they did profile one man. I want to tell you, his name is, he's a NASA contractor, Jim Sisko.
Because I stand behind my president, and I believe what he's doing is right. I believe we need the border wall.
So he doesn't mind not getting paid today. He stands behind him. So at least they tried to show the other side of the story.
Yeah.
For 6 seconds.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's this
actually,
one.
it's almost 7 seconds.
There's this one outlier.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Let's talk. Let's talk about human pain, because I know, despite what Mazie Hirono says about the problem Democrats have messaging, is they're too fact oriented. They're too the contentions they put forward are too data rich. They need to be more emotional. All they have is empty emotion. So, You want to hear human pain? Reggie Singh, the brother of Newman, California police officer Ranil Singh, who was murdered by a person in this country illegally.
Yeah, a known gangbanger, too.
Two-time DUI, two-time convicted DUI. Here's Reggie Singh at the press conference December 28th. You remember this?
I wish I could thank all the law enforcement agencies, Homeland Security in San Francisco, everyone, Bakersfield team. I was waiting for this to happen. I'd like to thank you, working day and night to make this happen.
That was, of course, on the occasion of the arrest.
Yeah, and we did actually play that. So, I mean, because nobody else did. I have not heard that audio anywhere. It got lost in the holiday shuffle.
So you want to play this human game with the left and those in your circles of influence and contact. Let's do it. And you should do it.
Because eventually they're going to get paid, but he's never going to get his brother back, ever. And President Trump, I thought he did a great job yesterday of focusing, not on the federal workers, but on the families who lost loved ones that were killed by illegal immigrants. And he brought Reggie down with him to the border when they
for that round table.
Yeah, for the round table, and then in front of them, and this kind of went by the wayside. All the arms and the weapons that were confiscated at the border, all the drugs, and not all of them, but the ones that just were tried to get through the border in the past month in McAllen, Texas.
Here's what Reggie Singh had to say when he sat down with Martha McCallum on Fox.
If he would have been deported, my brother would be alive right now. I would not be doing this interview. What I truly feel about this is, if we make our immigration law stricter, if we take action and not allow an illegal immigrant to get second chance, I think that, we could minimize the crime rate we are having.
And by the way, it shouldn't go unnoticed or shouldn't get lost that both Reggie and his brother Ronil, immigrants from Fiji, who emigrated to this country legally. Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, Dan and Amy, it's unfortunate, but the sorrow that these parents of police officers, brothers, and so forth, falls totally on deaf ears of liberals and the humanoids that I call them, because they just don't care. They have nothing to do with it. They just hate Trump. So I'm suggesting change the argument. Instead of saying, we're going to fight the border and all of that good stuff, say San Francisco, how many do you want? Hinsdale, how many do you want? You elected Sean Casten. Chicago, you're a sanctuary city. How many are you going to take in? Start putting these people where the liberals live and let them. That's the only way you're going to change their minds, is that they're so far removed from any of this that they just don't care. Policemen get killed, who cares? It's just a policeman. But you know what? Put them in their neighborhood and let them deal with the problems with that. Then you might get some change. Have a nice day.
Thanks for the call, Ed. Yeah, I mean, and I think it goes back to the Bernie Shaw, Michael Dukakis moment between President Trump and the entire nation and his speech on Tuesday night. What if it was your brother, your wife, your husband, your son, your daughter? Yeah. What if Ranil Singh was your relative? What would your position be?
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Food for the Poor is supported by Northwestern University's Master of Product Design and Development Management program. If you're thinking about an MBA, but your passion is in product design and development, Northwestern University's Master of Product Design and Development Management program is for you. It's a 2-year part-time management program for working professionals who aspire for leadership roles in product design and development. Register now for the info session in downtown Chicago, January 16th, or the open house in Evanston on January 19th. Northwestern's MPD is acclaimed by Businessweek as one of the top design thinking programs in the world. MPD prepares you for leadership in the product design and development world better than any other business management program, balancing management teachings with advanced design and development. Visit mpd.northwestern.edu. That's mpd.northwestern.edu.
Here's a great way to start a new year with the MyPillow 4-pack offer. You'll get 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows plus free shipping, all for the normal price of 1 premium MyPillow. As you've been hearing me tell you for years, they are the best pillows money can buy. I really cannot sleep without mine. And the bottom line is you will sleep better, and then you'll feel better. And I love it. MyPillow is washable and dryable, and there's always that 10-year money-back guarantee if you're not happy. And here's more good news. You can still get 30% off everything else, including the MyPillow mattress topper and pet beds that you've heard me rave about. Just be sure to use the promo code Amy to get the MyPillow 4-pack offer with free shipping and the 30% discount. Again, use the promo code Amy. Go to MyPillow.com. That's where you'll find everything. Mattress toppers, pet beds, pillows, sheets. You'll love it. MyPillow.com. Promo code Amy.
Raj Shah, host of Secure Retirement Radio.
I spoke to one person and, I asked him a simple question is, what do you want to do with your retirement? And he said, I want to protect it. Because if it does go down and not come back, do you have enough time in the market to recover those losses?
Tune in for Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah, Chicago's safe money strategist. Sunday mornings at 7 here on AM 560, The Answer.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
For 30 years, we've been making people happy with incredible deals and service.
We're the best Ford Lincoln dealers in town.
Because making people happy makes us happy.
No doubt. This is one happy place.
Heck, we just break into dance all the time.
We don't break into dance at the dealership.
Sure we do.
No, we really don't.
We could. Come on, Marty, dance with me.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Admit it.
Okay, you're a lovely dancer.
Thank you. This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. Stay warm this winter. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for winter storms and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
Don't miss Dr. Duke Pesta, one of America's foremost authorities on the dangers of Common Core education. Hosted by Kingswood Academy in Darien on Friday evening, January 25th at 6:30. Dr. Pesta will reveal the chilling truth behind the Common Core national educational standards. You won't want to miss this special presentation exposing the real truths about Common Core. Register to hear Dr. Pesta at kingswoodacademy.org. That's kingswoodacademy.org.
Children learn to think for themselves and benefit from a low teacher-to-student ratio. I invite you to attend our open house on Sunday, January 27th. For more information, visit kingswoodacademy.org. That's kingswoodacademy.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
Is 2019 the year that there's finally a legal reckoning for R. Kelly? This Lifetime series, Surviving R. Kelly.
Oh, it's actually led to arrests.
Right. It's prompted even Cook County State's Attorney Kim Fox, who's opposed to arresting people and prosecuting people, I should say. She's now wanting any women who've been assaulted, particularly minors, by R. Kelly to come forward.
Yeah, or any people that were entrapped in one of his compounds, or any witnesses, which is a rare move. I have never seen her do that. And then it came out that she was a sexual abuse victim herself when she was a kid, so she's taking this matter to heart. But it all stems from that Lifetime show.
Oh, really? What's she doing on CPS?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Surviving R. Kelly.
And now I want to watch it.
Hmm.
But they've had so many protests in front of his recording studio, which is empty right now, and he owes $80,000 in rent, so he's not going to be there much longer. But he was partying at a bar 2 nights ago on the South Side. Did you see that?
Yeah.
While all of this was going on?
Well, so the women in this documentary, Surviving R. Kelly, as the name implies, all say Kelly abused them.
And we're actually going to have one of the abusers on Monday, one of who was allegedly abused. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that.
And by the way, R. Kelly used to have this house in Olympia Fields that abuts Olympia Fields Golf Course.
Yeah.
And that the Isley brothers, one of the Isley brothers bought. Because apparently that Isley brother was mad at his money. But anyway, I mean, it's just, big spread. Walked away from it, completely trashed it.
Really? Trashed inside?
Yeah. Because the village ultimately had to go in and, sort of be a conduit for the bank to take possession because R. Kelly just walked from it. This is a bad
He's not a
dude.
good
I
human
remember when he was being prosecuted for having sex with a minor.
Well, the tape, that one in 2002?
That's not me on that tape.
No, that wasn't me.
Mhm.
I don't know what you're talking about. I could pause it.
Chappelle can get away with that. So he gets acquitted. He walks on those charges. But during the trial, I'm at a boxing match.
Yeah.
R. Kelly walks in with his entourage, and the girl on his arm, I don't know how old she was, but
She looked like a minor.
it was
Just say it.
it was a close call at best.
Really?
Disgusting.
Well, I saw the tape because they asked us. We had it in the newsroom and said, who wants to watch it? I'll watch it. It was him on the tape. I thought it was him, but, some jurors believed otherwise.
Yeah, well, everybody has their supporters, I suppose. This birthday party at V75 in Chicago you were mentioning.
Well, you go there, right? Yeah.
I don't.
You're a big clubber.
Never been there. My days of dancing on boxes and furry boots are over, Amy. Those days I put behind me. So this is a birthday party. Cops show up. There was a dispatcher put out a call that there was an arrest warrant for R. Kelly, but there was no arrest warrant. So they
Really?
so they showed up, but he was allowed to go about his business. At his birthday, according to TMZ, he was surrounded by screaming fans, and he grabbed the mic and declared, "I don't give a F about what's going on." Clear reference to the Surviving R. Kelly series. He had tons of fans on him, gassing him up, reports TMZ, as he sang the opening to Bump and Grind. Ah, yes, another wonderful moment for Chicago.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll pick up our discussion about the fight that Trump is going to the mat on over border security, what he had to say to the press corps before he went to McAllen, Texas. That's at 5:38.
And you can't say they don't have a prayer. The Vatican is putting together a track team for the Olympics. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Partly cloudy and 19 degrees. Today should be payday for some federal employees, but not everyone will be getting paychecks. Roughly 800,000 government workers are impacted by the partial government shutdown, now in day 21. And there's no end in sight as the House is refusing President Trump's request for funding for a border wall and border security.
Look, this is common sense. They need a barrier, they need a wall. If you don't have it, it's going to be nothing but hard work and grueling problems. And by the way, and death.
Democrat Representative Ted Lieu says one of the bills they did put forward would fund the Department of Homeland Security for a month.
And we did that because we want to sit down and in those 30 days come up with a comprehensive immigration solution with the White House. That's why it was packaged this way. So we all have an incentive to work this out for the American people.
If the shutdown stretches into the weekend, it will become the longest shutdown in history. The search for a gunman who killed a police officer in Northern California is over, and law enforcement community is in mourning there. The suspect was found dead inside of a home in Davis from what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Paul Doroshoff is the public information officer for Davis Police.
It's a small department. It's a family unit in a lot of ways, and we're all pretty shocked. I think everybody is holding it together, trying to do their job very professionally. but it's hard.
The discovery came just hours after the shooter allegedly opened fire on the female officer who was responding to a 3-car crash in the downtown area last night. We're learning more about a Wisconsin teenager who was found alive after she went missing months ago when her parents were murdered in Barron, Wisconsin. Jeff Kloss is Jamie Kloss's uncle.
When you actually hear it, it's just unbelievable, and we're all just so grateful and happy. Hopefully she's okay. We don't really know what shape she's in, or we don't really know a lot. All we know is she's alive.
Jamie Kloss is in a hospital in Duluth, Minnesota this morning. Police in Barron County say the 13-year-old was found yesterday, malnourished and dirty, after managing to escape from her captor in the town of Gordon. Nissan's ex-chairman Carlos Ghosn was charged today with breach of trust, making the executive's release unlikely for months to come. Ghosn was arrested November 19 and was charged earlier with falsifying financial reports and underreporting his income by about 5 billion yen, or about $44 million. The National Weather Service issuing a winter storm watch for a good chunk of central and southern Illinois. Many as 7 inches of snow in the forecast, 9 inches of snow for St. Louis. We'll see some of that snow, 1 to 3 inches, late Friday into Saturday. Police are investigating following allegations that an Evanston Township High School employee may have had inappropriate contact with students. And a young girl is dead and 2 adults seriously hurt following a horrific crash on Lower Wacker Drive in Chicago earlier this morning. Xavier Simpson, 16, number 4, Michigan, was a winner over Illinois at State Farm Center, 79-69. The Bulls continue their 5-game road trip tonight against the defending champion Warriors. 5:34 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is struggling with the new left.
Anderson Cooper last night sat down with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. It's infuriating to hear this young woman talk about people not paying their fair share. And I'm not saying this to be a jerk. I promise I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You know who hasn't paid her fair share? Her.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I thought I had a sinus headache for a few days, but I had a massive brain aneurysm, hemorrhage of the brain, and a stroke. And I was on my deathbed. I was on a respirator in a coma for 35 days. And 3 months later, I came home in a wheelchair. I had double vision. I had to learn to walk again, to speak again. 1 and 1 is 2, write the alphabet. You know, if I went out and did a little something, I'd come home, I'd be in bed. Now I'm up by like 5:30 in the morning, and I go to the gym. I do shopping. I cook. I have energy all day. I mean, I feel great. Overall, my whole outlook, just feeling, my mental aspect, everything is better.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
If you're serious about improving your home, why not make it easy? Don't miss the free Oakbrook Home and Garden Show, January 19th and 20th at the Drury Lane Theater and Event Center. Come see hundreds of the latest home products and services for thousands of the freshest ideas to remodel, repair, and beautify your home. Speak with local and national experts who are eager to help you find the best solution for all your home improvement needs. You'll find everything for your home, from the ultimate in-outdoor furniture to the latest and greatest home appliances. And don't miss one of the many free, informative seminars running throughout the weekend, including expert advice on the latest in kitchen design presented by award-winning Normandy Remodeling. From interiors to exteriors, from decor to outdoor, you'll find all at the Home and Garden Show, January 19th and 20th at Drury Lane, just north of the Oakbrook Shopping Center, with free admission and free valet parking. For more details, please visit oakbrookhomeshow.com. That's oakbrookhomeshow.com.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
5:37, a check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
In downtown Chicago, Lower Wacker is open again between Lower Michigan and Post Place for a major overnight wreck. North side on Ashland at Cortland, semi stuck under the bridge. Ashland is open there. Downers Grove, a collision. Belmont, Curtis. No delays to report on the Edens or the Kennedy this hour. The Eisenhower still okay. On Stevenson, getting a little congestion in Pulaski and Kedzie. Inbound Rhine, traffic's bunching up just a bit approaching downtown. Roadwork delays have dissipated on I-57. Fine at the moment. Inbound Bishop Ford, stop and go 103rd to the merge. You get a 4 or 5 minute delay. Tollways are good right now. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. More clouds and sun today, high 36. Bit of snow as we head towards dawn. A little more accumulation overnight, low 28. Heavier snow will come tomorrow during the day, 1 to 3 inches south of I-80. North of that, coating to an inch or so, high 33. 19 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Townstone Financial. Visiting townstone.com for a home refinance, purchase, or reverse mortgage is the smart choice.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy were talking about that R. Kelly, in part, R. Kelly birthday party at the Chicago nightclub. Tweet from Kevin Rooney, birthday party. Let me guess how we put out the candles.
Oh.
No. I said only Chappelle can get away with the pee on me humor.
Trip. Sorry. All right. I want to play it so bad.
Okay, control yourself.
Oh, fine.
Let's use it sparingly. Let's get back to the border. Matt Gaetz, Republican congressman from Florida, was on with Lou Dobbs, and he shared a personal anecdote of a conversation he had with Trump about this showdown over the shutdown, and offered a bit of an insight, I suppose, in terms of President Trump's posture.
What you just said reminded me of one of our last discussions where he said, Matt, I'm going to fight with everything I have for the forgotten Americans who want a secure border, and if I don't get it, I'm going to die with my boots on. That's the kind of resolve I want from the energetic executive that we have at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, someone who is willing to do everything he can to make sure that the American people see promises fulfilled.
Is that what you want from President Trump? Or do you want him to fold, or as Republicans normally say it, to find bipartisan compromise, to find middle ground, to do the bidding of the other side? Are you worried that as this partial shutdown continues on, and or he decides, as he repeated yesterday, that if the other side is going to be unreasonable, then he will exercise the emergency powers that he believes he has, and I think he's right, as the nation's executive, to direct the military, the Army Corps, whatever, to
the Army
construct
Corps
the
of
wall.
Engineers.
Mm-hmm.
And people are squawking this morning that he's taking funds away from disaster relief, from hurricane, the hurricane survivors in Puerto Rico and Texas.
So how should Trump respond to the squawking from all corners? The but look, in a previous iteration of a steel paneled barrier, you were able to cut through it with a customary saw, and so it won't be effective. Oh, Nancy Pelosi now talking about El Chapo style tunnels. Oh, well, they'll just build tunnels underneath the wall so it won't stop anything. Should Trump stand fast, or should he look for a covered retreat from his current position? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line, because his position, as he explained to the assembled D.C. press corps before he headed to the border yesterday, Pretty clear.
I have the absolute right to declare a national emergency. The lawyers have so advised me. I'm not prepared to do that yet, but if I have to, I will. I have no doubt about it, I will. I have the absolute right to declare. This was passed by Congress. So when you say, was it passed by Congress? It was. Other presidents have used it, some fairly often. I have the absolute right to declare a national emergency. I haven't done it yet. I may do it. If this doesn't work out, probably I will do it. I would almost say definitely.
What, there have been 58 national emergencies declared. Remember the Iran hostage crisis, 9/11, and pretty much they just redirect funds that have already received congressional approval, right? So then it would pay for his wall. But if the Democrats would work with him, we wouldn't even be in this position to begin with. And that's, a point of contention with some saying, well, it's not a national emergency. It is a humanitarian crisis. I'm not going to deny that for 5 seconds. We do have a problem. And if we put up a wall, it will send a message to people not only in Mexico, but in Central America, hey, don't come here.
National Review opining on the topic about the humanitarian crisis, even though they oppose Trump invoking the emergency powers he believes he has. But here's what the editorial board at National Review offered. It's an ongoing surge of minors and families from Central America that we are ill-equipped as a matter of law and resources to handle. That's the humanitarian crisis. Or as Pelosi and Pagliacci say, challenge. Okay. This category of migrant is the new normal, continues National Review. 20 years ago, single men accounted for the vast majority of illegal immigrants. Now families or minors are almost 60% of apprehensions. That's an important point, and I think it's been lost. Almost 60% of apprehensions are families or minors. Because of court-dictated rules limiting how long we can hold children, an anti-trafficking law that makes it impossible to easily send Central American minors home, and a broken asylum process on top of strained resources across the board, we are routinely releasing migrants into the country, even though this is a policy that the Trump administration rightly opposes and desperately wants to reverse. Our inability to control the flow encourages more migrants to come, more common sense. And President Trump knows that as well. And he had a message to the media, sort of broke his own news, if you will, about more of what National Review is describing is on the horizon, specifically another caravan forming.
You can all play cute, and I'd say 80% of you are possibly in coordination with the opposition party. I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. All you have to do is look at the borders, rent a helicopter, except you don't want to know the truth, and watch. And by the way, here's the story. There is another major caravan forming right now in Honduras. And so far, we're trying to break it up. But so far, it's bigger than anything we've seen. And a drone isn't going to stop it. And a sensor isn't going to stop it. But you know what's going to stop it in its tracks? A nice, powerful wall.
Congressman Chip Roy, a Republican from Texas, writing in The Federalist. Fences have worked since the dawn of time. We currently have 46 miles of reinforced fencing along the San Diego sector of the border. Before construction began in 1986, there were 629,656 arrests. Compare that to the 31,891 arrests in 2016. Boy, that's pretty...
That's significant.
I would say. At least
Dropped it by more than half, if I'm doing the numbers right.
The fence is at least part of the reason. Fences are, in fact, a viable 21st century solution. Instead of bickering over what we know to be a reality, how about we just start? Let's start in Brownsville and work up the river. We'll clear cane where needed. We'll add a fence where needed. We'll make navigable roadways for Border Patrol along with cameras and radio towers. Will we encounter obstacles? Sure. If a rancher needs water, we'll leave an opening. Post a guard, put up a working camera, move a mile up the river and keep going. When you get to Big Bend, maybe we put up a fence, maybe we don't, but let's find a solution. It's time to acknowledge and declare our collective resolve that the era of lawless borders is over. I mean, pretty tangible, pretty commonsensical, not ideological.
So you say there's a new caravan.
And I think it's gonna be a long, long walk till I get to the United States. I'm not the man my passport says I am. Oh, no, no, no. I'm in the caravan.
Yeah. I got an idea. Let's help President Trump break up that caravan by blaring that song at the caravan as it's forming in Honduras. And that will repel them back to...
It's like we get to see more Honduran flags.
There you go.
Yay, let me in your country because I'm holding a Honduran flag.
Eric in Park Ridge, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. How you doing?
Morning.
Well, I had an opinion on this, and I thought that it would be good for them to. I want Trump to stand his ground, and if people are teetering either which way, what I mean by that is they're still undecided as to like how they want to see their way through with this. Like people are right at that tipping point, and he's got to lead us through and stand his ground and keep the government shut down and get that wall, and show us the leadership to help guide us through our decision. You know what I mean?
All right. Yeah. Thanks for the call, Eric. You're in the Matt Getz camp, and I get it. I think that's the right position. David in McCook.
Hey, happy Friday, guys.
Hello.
Trump should definitely stand his ground. I was curious, did you hear what that pinhead Acosta did yesterday or the day before?
Yeah, I don't see any problem down here.
Right. Yeah, you're right by a fence, Acosta.
Exactly.
What an idiot.
It was a great
David.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see a problem down here. Well, yeah, no, duh, Mimbo.
I'm looking through this fence, and I don't see anybody right here.
Because there's a fence there, Mimbo. It was classic.
Oh, he's funny.
He's the only guy wearing a suit in McAllen, Texas. I'll tell you that much.
Expensive suit too. He's big. He's big.
Well, now that he's
big
single,
swinging D down there.
He got divorced and he's on the prowl. Oh, that's gross.
He's a wolf of another sort. Bruno in Naperville.
Yeah, Trump has given in on this issue twice before. If he caves this time, he's done in 2020. He has to understand he has nothing in common with the people that he's supposedly negotiating with, because their goal is the demographic and cultural transformation of America into something that it never was. And they'll do anything to get there, because for them the ends justifies the means. And if the means involves people dying, if it involves drugs, if it involves overstressed social services, depressed wages, unemployment, they don't care, because they have one goal and one goal in mind. And that's what I said.
Thanks for the call, Bruno.
The only way to solve this, declare a national emergency, get the funding needed, get in the Army Corps of Engineers to construct the wall, and then end the government shutdown.
Or,
because everyone's digging in their heels. This shutdown could go on forever, and I do feel bad because I do know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. I feel bad. This one paycheck's fine, but come Saturday, this will be the longest shutdown ever.
It's a great blaring headline, but it's also 20 days, 22 days.
Yeah.
I
wouldn't want to work and not get paid.
Well, I understand. Nobody's suggesting that. Nobody's suggesting that. But that's the whole idea. Like, only this group is impacted. We're being impacted now, so now it's time to Mark Stein writing his blog.
Say?
Talking about Chuck and Nancy's performance on Tuesday night. Droned on about the government shutdown, which nobody gives a hoot about or even notices unless you're one of the furloughed. And a temporary break in non-essential government that exists only to provide government benefits and government security for its bureaucrats is a parody of a crisis. Oh, gee, the poor, bloated, staggering Leviathan has a bandaged finger. Back in the real world, 3/4 of the federal government cruises on, along with all the multiple alternative governments, state, county, municipal, school district. One thing America does not want for is government. It's like Payless Shoe Source. There'll be another one 200 yards down the road.
My friend's in D.C. right now. She said everyone's an Uber driver. Every Uber she's gotten into is a federal worker that's furloughed.
Yeah,
we got to make money, so.
I also note the story how happy hour is beginning earlier at D.C. bars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it moved up happy hour. Why? Mike in Union. Hey,
Good
Mike.
morning.
Morning.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Although your recommendation for Rocket Man may repel some of the immigrants, I would make a recommendation that they play Little Led Zeppelin, proven effective to drag Manuel Noriega out of his compound down there. That would be my recommendation.
Was that Led Zeppelin they blared at Manuel at Noriega?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, I think it was at an odd 10. So I was digging it. So
that's great.
Hey, and
Thanks, Mike.
real quickly, we have Jim Acosta standing along the border wall saying, "There's nothing to see here. Everything's fine."
And here are some of the steel slats that the president's been talking about right here. As you can see, yes, you can see through these slats to the other side of the U.S.-Mexico border. But as we're walking along here, we're not seeing any kind of imminent danger. There are no migrants trying to rush toward this fence here in the McAllen, Texas area. As a matter of fact, there are some other businesses behind me along this highway. There's a gas station, Burger King, and so on. But no sign of the national emergency that the president has been talking about. As a matter of fact, it's pretty tranquil down here.
Well, golly, then I guess we don't have a problem. That's some ace reporting from Jim Acosta. I mean, when the president says 80% of the D.C. press corps are working in collaboration with the Democrats, he ain't kidding. Oh, by the way, I guess these are just made-up numbers. I guess this never happened, but Congressman Chip Roy from Texas notes in his piece in the Federalist that I previously referenced, since 2011 in Texas alone, 7 years, just in Texas, 175,000 illegal aliens have been charged with more than 437,000 criminal offenses. And they have also had another tragedy down there that gives form to this problem. Last summer in San Antonio, Representative Roy references, an illegal immigrant needlessly killed a young and vibrant Texan named Jared Vargas. Law enforcement apprehended the murderer multiple times but released him. His final release just days before he killed Jared Vargas. But I guess because Jim Acosta doesn't see anything in that little piece of turf that he's occupying on the border, we don't got a problem.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I had cancer. I have fibromyalgia, I have nerve damage and fatigue, I have thalassemia, I'm hypoglycemic. So my life since cancer, I've had to learn how to live with it. But starting Balance of Nature, I felt that the first month I felt different. It made such a difference that now I wake up, my head feels clearer, I have more energy. Very rarely does my body cramp up anymore. It's the best thing. It's just amazing. I don't know what to say. I just would not be what I am today if I didn't start Balance of Nature.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 4343 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 4343. Enjoy.
Are you buying or selling a business or starting a business? Maybe you have legal problems with a business partner or employees, or are just drowning in new regulations. You need the support of a law firm that concentrates in a wide range of business law and tax matters. You need the corporate team at Kelleher and Buckley. Whether you're a local mom and pop shop, middle market business, or a large corporation or franchise, They provide cost-effective legal solutions to help your businesses thrive. The lawyers of Kelleher and Buckley focus on targeted legal advice tailored to meet the specific needs of your business. You deserve competent legal representation from a law firm maintaining a high level of knowledge about the ever-changing laws governing businesses. One that also includes accountants and tax specialists on board to provide your business bottom-line solutions. Kelleher and Buckley, LLC of North Barrington and Chicago is a legal solution provider that also includes estate planning, asset protection, life insurance planning, and litigation. Keep your business on track. Call 847-382-9130 or online at kelleherbuckley.com.
Wow, we've been doing a lot of roofs.
And we're ready to do yours. This is Mark Olson.
And Greg Olson from Crumweedy. Okay, say it. If your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy. Remember that when you need repair or when you need a new roof.
It's so important to choose your roofing company wisely.
Here's our pitch.
Installation. It's the ball game.
We follow the manufacturer's specifications, so your warranty is totally intact. Most roofing companies don't do that.
When we give you a quote, we give you good, better, and best options. You decide.
And we're not going anywhere.
We're a third-generation family business. 65 years of doing great roofs.
We run the company on good, conservative values.
For any roofing problem or need, call your roofing guys, Crumweedy.
Do we have any special offers? Sure. Just ask. We'll take care of you.
Get all the info at myroofisneedy.com.
When your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy. 630-595-8020. 630-595-8020.
Imagining a better bank starts with looking at the savings rates most banks offer and saying, really? Capital One is building something better. You can open a Capital One savings account with one of the nation's best savings rates from anywhere, like here, or here, or here. One of the nation's best savings rates. Opened online, at a Capital One location, or from anywhere. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One N.A. member FDIC. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
Hey, Craig and Leslie here from In the Know. Leslie, I like to think that we're always finishing the drive to the end zone and not just blocking and tackling for our clients. We want them to be ready for the big game, their retirement.
That's right, Craig. That's why our whole team at Wealth Management Group has their game face on and is ready for 2018.
Make a tactical maneuver to make Wealth Management Group part of your financial force.
Pick Wealth Management Group as your offensive line. Visit us at investwithwmg.com and listen to In the Know Sunday mornings at 10 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Still no end to the standoff. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
We need to do something.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham says he sees no compromise in Congress, so...
If the end game is an emergency declaration by the president, do it now. Let's see if it works.
But Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell told the Fox News Rundown podcast that would be unlawful. They just need to agree to reopen the government on day 21 of the partial shutdown.
These 800,000 federal workers and the people who are connected to the work that they do, this affects their rent, it affects their mortgages, their credit.
Now, the president went to the border again, pushing for the wall. Fox's Jared Halpern's live in McAllen, Texas.
On a tour of the Rio Grande with border agents, President Trump again argued new border barriers here, walls or slats, is common sense.
They make it strong, but the laws have to be strong, and we need security. We need the kind of backup that you want.
President Trump again hinted at using an emergency declaration to begin wall construction. Without Congress, Fox has confirmed the White House has requested the Army Corps of Engineers look into the possibility of redirecting disaster funding elsewhere to the border. Dave.
Jared, the process has begun in Syria to withdraw U.S. troops. That's what a military spokesman says the day after Secretary of State Pompeo said in Egypt
99% of the territory ISIS once held is liberated.
Now, the president has said the pullout would happen at a proper pace. Jamie Kloss has been found alive. The 13-year-old Wisconsin girl missing since October.
Apparently running up to a woman, walking her dog, saying, "I've been kidnapped and they killed my parents."
Paul Bloom with Fox 9 TV. Kloss turned up an hour north from her home. She was skinny, dirty, wearing shoes that were too big. Police did take someone into custody. We'll learn more this morning. A police officer shot dead in Davis, California last night, responding to a car accident. Natalie Corona was just 22 and only graduated from the academy last summer. This is Fox News.
Partly cloudy, 18 degrees. Our time is 6:02 on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. The National Weather Service issuing a winter storm watch for parts of central and southern Illinois. As much as 7 inches of snow will fall, while the Weather Service says the snow is expected to start late Friday. Weather Service forecasters say the Chicago area can expect 1 to 3 inches of snow south of I-80 late Friday into Saturday, and then snow overspreads the entire area, coating to an inch for the rest of us. Police are investigating following allegations that an Evanston Township High School employee may have had inappropriate contact with students. School officials say they learned of the accusations this week. Authorities have not specified the employee's sex or role at the high school or what that inappropriate contact may have involved. This morning, a young girl is dead. 2 adults seriously hurt following a crash on Lower Wacker Drive. Police say a Mazda this morning hit an Acura making a U-turn in the first block of West Lower Wacker Drive. The Mazda then slammed into a wall, causing a girl inside to be thrown from the vehicle. Embattled Alderman Ed Burke casting a long shadow on the Chicago mayoral race. The criminally charged 14th Ward alderman was a major topic of conversation during a Channel 9 hosted mayoral forum last night at Steinmetz High School. Several candidates were asked directly about their ties to Burke, including Comptroller Susana Mendoza and City Hall veteran Gary Chico. Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle did not take part in that debate. A diehard Northwestern University basketball fan who gained a little bit of notoriety this year for her loud screaming has been forced to be a lot more quiet at the games. Emily Harriet is president of the official NU student section, who became known as the Shrieker for her high-pitched wails during NU basketball games. However, NU officials are apparently asking her to tone it down after receiving complaints from a few fans and radio and television partners over the weekend, and Harriet says she'll comply with that request. In the Big Ten last night, number 4 Michigan over Illinois, 79-69. The news, a service of Peloton, live studio classes in the comfort of your own home. Winter, summer, rain or shine, with the Peloton bike, it's always the perfect weather to sweat. And with up to 14 live rides a day and over 10,000 more on demand, nothing will get between you and your workout. Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com or visit your local showroom. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity applauds the president's stance on trade.
We have had horrible one-sided deals with everybody. That includes NATO, 72 cents of every dollar. That includes even our European allies and friends, supposedly. They have one-sided trade deals. Mexico, NAFTA, Canada, now China. So we're making huge progress.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money. Easy to learn, easy to use, small business software tailored just for you. With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Start out the new year with brand new custom window treatments from Blinds.com. Cellular shades, wood blinds, Roman shades, and more. Whatever you have in mind, they can help you reimagine one room or your entire home for less than almost any other home improvement. Go to Blinds.com now through January 15th for a guaranteed 25% off with promo code LIGHT. Get a guaranteed 25% off with promo code LIGHT. Rules and restrictions apply.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and you'll have to wait until spring to get the outside of your house painted, but winter, perfect opportunity to get your interior painted. You know, people walk into my kitchen and ask, Amy, did you get new cabinets? No, I save myself thousands of dollars by simply having them painted by the experts at CertaPro Painters. So cross the first project off your 2019 to-do list. CertaPro Painters will ensure a beautiful transformation of your home And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered. In-home with a color consultation or online with their color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Staples has the supplies you need to run your business like a boss this year. Right now, buy one HP ink and get the second at 30% off, so you can stock up and save. Ends 1/12/19. Restrictions may apply. See store or staples.com for details. Staples.
6:07 in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
In Warrenville this morning, there's a crash on Butterfield at Winfield Road. Downtown Chicago, Lower Wacker is open again. Lower Michigan at Post Place for a major overnight crash. Eden's Expressway has no problems to report. Kennedy's still looking good as well. Eisenhower, we have delays. Inbounds, Blaines Avenue to Harlem, Beaman to the Burns Circle. 32 minutes, 390 to downtown. How about 29? Mount Stevenson, about a 5-minute delay from Central to Pulaski. Inbound Ryan, heavy 95th to 87th, Canalport to Burns Circle. 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 good, Bishop Ford, 17 minutes, 80-94 to the Verge. No issues right now. The tollways are in Northwest Indiana. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
More clouds today than the sunshine, the high 36. Clouds and a bit of snow toward dawn. Tonight, little or no accumulation, low 28. For tomorrow, some snow accumulating and coating to an inch, high 33. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
18 degrees at O'Hare. Next news, 6:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Excuse me. Good morning, Dan and Amy.
Want to try that again?
Yeah. What? Mike Pompeo, he's the Secretary of State, don't you know, gave a expansive speech in Cairo yesterday, and very interesting because he issued a frontal assault on the speech given in Cairo some 10 years ago by one President Barack Obama, and the policy choices that followed that speech, what they wrought, how the Trump administration has reversed the approach to the Middle East and to Islamofascism, and restored America's reputation and allegiances with those individuals and countries that are at least somewhat tolerant of political and religious pluralism. Listen to what Pompeo had to say. There's a lot here, but it's just a stark indictment of the 8 years of President Obama's foreign policy in the region.
Remember, it was here in this city, that another American stood before you. He told you that radical Islamist terrorism does not stem from an ideology. He told you that 9/11 led my country to abandon its ideals, particularly in the Middle East. He told you that the United States and the Muslim world needed, quote, a new beginning, end of quote. The results of these misjudgments have been dire. In falsely seeing ourselves as a force for what ails the Middle East, we were timid in asserting ourselves when the times and our partners demanded it. We grossly underestimated the tenacity and viciousness of radical Islamism a debauched strain of the faith that seeks to upend every other form of worship or governance. ISIS drove to the outskirts of Baghdad as America hesitated. They raped and pillaged and murdered tens of thousands of innocents. They birthed the caliphate across Syria and Iraq and launched terror attacks that killed all across continents. America's reluctance, our reluctance to wield our influence, kept us silent as the people of Iran rose up against the mullahs in Tehran in the Green Revolution. The Ayatollahs and their henchmen murdered, jailed, and intimidated freedom-loving Iranians. And they wrongly blamed America for this unrest when it was their own tyranny that had fueled it. Emboldened, the regime spread its cancerous influence to Yemen, to Iraq, to Syria, and still further into Lebanon. Our penchant, America's penchant for wishful thinking, led us to look the other way, as Hezbollah, a wholly owned subsidiary of the Iranian regime, accumulated a massive arsenal of approximately 130,000 rockets and missiles. They stored and positioned these weapons in Lebanese towns and villages in flagrant violation of international law. That arsenal is aimed squarely at our ally, Israel. When Bashar Assad unleashed terror upon ordinary Syrians and barrel-bombed civilians with sarin gas, a true echo of Saddam Hussein's gassing of the Kurdish people, we condemned his actions, but in our hesitation to wield power, we did nothing. Our eagerness to address only Muslims and not nations ignored the rich diversity of the Middle East and frayed old bonds. It undermined the concept of the nation state, the building block of international stability. And our desire for peace at any cost led us to strike a deal with Iran, our common enemy. So today, what did we learn from all of this?
Well, that's a pretty powerful review of that region and the choices that were made by the previous administration in it and what they begot. I thought Pompeo gave a great speech, and it's difficult to argue with the results he's describing from the choices that were made in Iran, in Syria, in the region generally. And there's just some important notes there, speaking to Muslims only rather than the region, the individual nation states, the diversity of the populations of those countries. And think about those populations that were being persecuted in ISIS's heyday, like Coptic Christians in places like Egypt. Pompeo continued. What did we learn? Here's what we learned.
We learned that when America retreats, chaos often follows. When we neglect our friends, resentment builds. And when we partner with our enemies, they advance. The good news is this. The age of self-inflicted American shame is over, and so are the policies that produce so much needless suffering. Now comes the real new beginning.
The age of self-inflicted American shame is over. And some could take those words about abandoning our friends, retreating when our engagement is required, and say, well, isn't that what we're doing? In Syria, as yesterday, the troop drawdown, the withdrawal, started per the president's order. In Afghanistan as well. Isn't that what we're doing? But then you have to go back and look at all of the entanglements and what they've produced and what potential they have to produce. So I don't like even floating the silliness of relying on anything a radical Islamist like Erdogan in Turkey has to say. But when our own generals say there is no military solution to be had in Syria, well, then why are we going to risk, and the same thing could be said of Afghanistan, other than this negotiated withdrawal that we've been engaged in effecting? And the Taliban's reassume control of that country. So, on the one hand, you listen to Pompeo's words, and we need to be forceful where we enter. But where we've made mistakes, where we've drawn red lines that we don't intend to man, like we did in Syria under President Obama, then let's not extend those mistakes in perpetuity. We talked to Dr. Zuhdi Jasser from the American Islamic Forum for Democracy yesterday on the show. And I don't disagree with what he had to say about winning the peace and wanting some presence in Syria, not just to work in concert with our Kurdish allies, but also for intelligence gathering. As the Trump administration has dealt basically the kill shot to ISIS, it doesn't mean that we should have no presence there, and it doesn't mean we won't have any presence there on a limited, intelligence-oriented manner. And I think that's what Pompeo is getting to, and ultimately did get to when he talked about this administration's posture. You've heard what happened. You've heard what we learned. What's the Trump administration doing about it, and how's that going?
The United States under President Trump has reasserted its traditional role as a force for good in this region. We've learned from our mistakes. We've rediscovered our voice. We've rebuilt our relationships. We've rejected false overtures from our enemies. And look at what we've accomplished. Look at what we've accomplished together. Under new leadership, America has confronted the ugly reality of radical Islamism. On President Trump's very first trip abroad to this region, he called on Muslim-majority nations to, quote, meet history's greatest test, to conquer extremism and vanquish the forces of terrorism. President Sisi joined us. He joined us in denouncing the twisted ideology which has brought death and suffering on so many. I thank President Sisi for his courage.
So now, considering what Pompeo has reviewed, and I think the persuasive nature of what he had to say, you still worried about President Trump wrecking America's standing in the world, leading us into world wars? Or do you have a sense that maybe the hand on the rudder, particularly per those surrounding him, like Pompeo, like Bolton, maybe it's a little bit more stable than the D.C. press corps would have you believe, and maybe the community organizer-in-chief that preceded President Trump, maybe he was the wrong individual to captain the ship.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Sheet metal is a big part of commercial and industrial facilities. Look around your business and you'll quickly notice how many components use sheet metal. From fan systems and hoods to machinery guards and much more. For top quality sheet metal work, get to know the pros at Vans Industrial.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. Vans Industrial is an industrial sheet metal contractor that can fabricate all types of alloys up to 1-inch plate. We perform jobs including chutes, hoppers, stacks, siding, and dust collection. We work in material handling facilities including steel, chemical, agricultural, food processing plants, and more. Vans Industrial can also design and perform the engineering for a complete turnkey installation. Our quality work is installed by trained mechanics who will work closely with you to make sure the job is done right.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
Pain drugs are addictive and have side effects. Get off the drugs, get rid of the pain. You don't need to live with chronic pain. Let's repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, from an accident or pain that just develops. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the most respected and successful pain doctors in the world. Dr. Candido will work to find the source of your chronic pain and fix it. He teaches pain management around the world and has been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Okay, you get it. He's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido, Chicago anesthesia and pain specialist, will help you get off the pain medication and all of its side effects. You can get your life back. Drugs mask the pain. Find the source and fix it. Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain. You can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info at mypainchicago.com.
Food for the Poor is supported by Northwestern University's Master of Product Design and Development Management program. If you're thinking about an MBA, but your passion is in product design and development, Northwestern University's Master of Product Design and Development Management program is for you. It's a 2-year part-time management program for working professionals who aspire for leadership roles in product design and development. Register now for the info session in downtown Chicago, January 16th, or the open house in Evanston on January 19th. Northwestern's MPD is acclaimed by Businessweek as one of the top design thinking programs in the world. MPD prepares you for leadership in the product design and development world better than any other business management program, balancing management teachings with advanced design and development. Visit mpd.northwestern.edu. That's mpd.northwestern.edu.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank. I'd like to thank our customers for selecting Signature as their trusted banking partner to help build their businesses. We started Signature in 2006, and we've had the opportunity to meet so many hardworking Chicagoans. From third-generation family-owned businesses on the west side of Chicago to tech innovators at 1871. Signature Bank is proud to work across many different industries in the city and beyond. As the fastest-growing, independently owned business bank in Chicago, Signature is always welcoming new customers. I'd love to meet you and learn about your business.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy and...
Why are you shaking your head over there? What's going on?
I'm just sort of mystified by this development at the Vatican.
Well, yeah, they're getting together an Olympic team. They're getting together a track team. And they have Swiss guards, priests, nuns, pharmacists, and a 62-year-old professor who works in the Vatican's Apostolic Library. And they're putting a team together, an Italian track. They'll run with the Italian Track Association, but they're their own country.
I don't think the 62-year-old professor is going to be able to take out Usain Bolt. That's just a guess.
What do you think the odds are in Vegas? But yeah, they just decided, they've decided that they need to compete in games, in organized sports, and games of the small states of Europe. They want to dominate. But the video, they came out with their new track suits yesterday, with the Holy See flag patch, and it looks funny
exactly
because
aerodynamic.
No, but well, yeah, with the nun in the long skirt,
right?
How is she going to kill it in that thing? So I think get rid of the habit too. Maybe I don't know.
I like the habit.
Oh, you think that'll be?
Well, it's just distinguishing, and it'll be like the coolest uniform since FloJo.
Oh, that's.
Remember?
Oh, I love Flo. Wasn't she gorgeous? And her nails. Remember that? And then she wore those beautiful suits, but her hair was always done beautifully.
And the one pant leg.
Yeah, and
right,
the one
pant
arm.
leg thing. The one arm.
It was gorgeous.
So,
team members. So they were Navy track suits, by the way. And they're the Vatican pharmacist who is a runner. His name is Michele Caporetti. Said the aim of the team is not exclusively competitive, but rather to promote culture and running and launch the message of solidarity and the fight against racism and violence of all types. Just run, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
spare me your social justice warrior speech there. But no, and in recent years, the Vatican has fielded unofficial football teams and a cricket team. So they're, it helped forge relationships with the Anglican Church.
The Anglican Church?
Oh my God, did I say Anglican Church?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I need to go away. So it should be, the track team, they're the first to have legal status in Vatican City. So
I think Pope Julius II, the warrior pope. I don't think like Pope Francis is going to be the Olympics Pope.
Yeah.
This is bizarre.
You know what?
to
They
me.
should bring him out in opening ceremonies. So Vatican City, then he comes out, and then the team comes out behind him. That's a brilliant idea, Dan.
Well, I
Opening
mean,
ceremonies if they make it. Well, they
you will know whose side God is on in those competitions. I mean,
Right.
that's the whole when they.
So I joked around, flying nuns, running nuns, and it's the God Squad.
Yeah, true. Let's say it'd be who was who's the flying nun? Sally Field.
Sally Field.
Yeah, come to life. Boy, when this team says Our Lady of Victory, pray for us. I mean,
Scusi, Barbara Boopy? Che cosa? Peter, what are you doing? Speaking Italian. Barbara Boopy? Barbara. Peter, you can't speak Italian just because you have a mustache. Boba di Baba. Boba bibi boba baba bibi baba.
Tu sei un pazzo, va via da qui. Sono stanco di te, ti do un pugno nella testa. Ti uccido con questa carne.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The check engine light is on in Washington, but politicians keep driving the car as if nothing's happening. There it is again. It's Social Security. A new government report says the Social Security Trust Fund will run out by the year 2034, and that its costs will exceed revenues this year for the first time in more than 3 decades. What does that mean for you? When should you start taking benefits? When should your spouse? And how can you get every dollar of Social Security you're rightfully entitled to? Find out what your choices could be by getting a copy of the Social Security Decision Guide from Taboda and Associates. They've been helping clients tune up their retirement decisions for more than 35 years. And even though they don't work for the government, they know Social Security. Call right now, 630-883-4577, and we'll send you the guide. That's 630-883-4577. Find out how to get every dollar of Social Security you're rightfully entitled to. Call 630-883-4577. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy,
Kudos.
another reason why I'm single, because
Why?
the apple of my eye is now off the market. Of course, I'm talking about Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow.
I knew you guys had a thing for each other.
Tim Tebow has made his relationship with 2017 Miss Universe Demi Lee Nell Peters, South Africa.
And she said yes.
Yeah. Made it official. Proposed to her.
How? Oh, at sunset at his family's farm outside of Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah, that's a picture on Instagram with him on bended knee and a little gazebo. It's very nice.
Was it kind of like when Cheryl Scott got engaged to the DJ?
I don't think it's anything like that, but I have
No,
no idea.
because she had her hand up the same way that this showing off the ring.
You're
Every engagement picture, you got to kiss the guy and show off the ring.
You're so parochial. I mean, Cheryl
What?
Scott. We're
What?
talking about Tim Tebow, and you're talking about some weather girl in Chicago.
Cheryl Scott is
Come on.
gorgeous.
Please.
All right.
Yeah, she can hold a candle to Demi Lee Nell Peters, let me tell
I
you.
think they're very similar.
Well, that's where you'd be wrong.
They both know about barometric pressures.
One is a 23-year-old former Miss South Africa, and one
Is it? Yeah. It's
you know.
awesome. All right. So,
Yeah, okay.
wait, well, good. I wish
tells
them
us it's
well.
cold outside. But not baby, it's cold outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tim Tebow,
Oh, they look really happy.
and he's still trying to make his way in the big leagues. He's 31 now.
Is it? Because he's been doing a lot of correspondence work on ESPN, I do believe.
Correspondence work?
He's this
Like,
correspondent.
is he trying to get a degree from
No,
ESPN?
but he'll do, the hour-long documentaries and
Mm.
Tim Tebow's, and he does a really good job.
She is a really special girl, and I'm very lucky and blessed for her coming into my life, said Tim Tebow.
Oh.
It's nice. I'll miss you, Tim.
Call me.
Thought we had a chance.
Can I get an invitation for the wedding?
All right, speaking of somebody who has no chance, Dorothy
Hey.
Brown, candidate for mayor of Chicago for now, joins us at 6:36.
Yeah, she had a rough day. They said some signatures aren't validated, like 1,100 of them. We'll start there with her, but first let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
18 degrees this morning. U.S. military pullout from Syria has begun. Spokesperson for the U.S.-led coalition fighting ISIS in Syria in Iraq saying today the withdrawal of troops and equipment is underway. Colonel Sean Ryan did not give any specific details about troop movements. Thousands of federal employees will not see their paycheck today because of the ongoing shutdown. Around 800,000 or so are impacted by the partial government shutdown. So far, 71 of 535 representatives and senators have said they will either delay or donate their pay for the duration of the shutdown. Iowa Republican Senator Chuck Grassley is not among them.
When government opens up, those civil servants are going to get their back pay. At least they always have in the past. In turn, wouldn't you expect congressmen to get whatever they didn't take because of the shutdown?
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer are also not on the list compiled by CNN of members giving up checks. A Davis, California police officer shot in the line of duty has died. 22-year-old Natalie Corona was shot responding to a 3-vehicle crash last night.
I haven't seen anybody work harder in a part-time capacity and be more motivated to be a police officer than Natalie. She's just an absolute star in the department.
Davis Police Chief Darren Pytel. Police in Wisconsin will have more details later this morning about the discovery of 13-year-old Jamie Kloss, who went missing months ago when her parents were found shot to death.
When you actually hear it, it's just unbelievable, and we're all just so grateful and happy. Hopefully she's okay. We don't really know what shape she's in, or we don't really know a lot. All we know is she's alive.
Jamie was found yesterday in the Wisconsin town of Gordon. Police are investigating allegations that an Evanston Township High School employee may have had inappropriate contact with students. A young girl is dead, 2 adults seriously hurt following a horrific crash on Lower Wacker Drive in Chicago. Chicago sports last night in the Big Ten, number 4 Michigan. Big Ten hoops win over Illinois at State Farm Center, 79-69. The news, a service of Staples. Staples with the supplies you need to run your business like a boss this year. Right now, buy one HP Ink and get the second at 30% off, so you can stock up and save. Ends 1/12/19. Restrictions may apply. See store or staples.com for details. Staples. 6:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
On Tuesday, January 29th, President Donald Trump will deliver his second State of the Union address to Congress, to the country, and to the world. And AM 560, The Answer, is throwing a party. And you're invited. It's a taste of freedom. A State of the Union viewing party presented by HealthInsuranceMentors.com at Belvedere Banquets in Elk Grove Village. Enjoy dinner and drinks with fellow AM 560 listeners as you watch the president's speech. Tickets start at just $64 and are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/taste. Sponsored in part by StoreLock.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggie capsules contain 100% vine-ripened fruits and vegetables, tested pure with no pesticides, fillers, or additives of any kind. And it is undeniably one of the most effective whole food supplements on the market today. You might ask, how can over 10 servings of 31 fruits and vegetables fit into 6 vegetarian capsules? Fruits and vegetables are on an average 85% water, some a little higher, some a little lower. Balance of Nature uses cold vacuum technology to take out the water and air, leaving only whole food, which maintains 99.9% of its original nutritional value. Along with diet and exercise, Mother Nature provides fruits and vegetables to help us maintain good health. Make sense? To order, go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751 and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hey everyone, Carrie here. For years, you've heard my husband, Ken,
Hello, Radioland.
explain how Income Store is the place for your next revenue stream. Not to date ourselves, but Ken and I have been helping individuals and businesses grow their revenue since before the internet was even a thing. We've heard countless stories as to why people look to increase their revenue.
Some stories make us laugh, some make us cry.
These stories, combined with our own, have motivated Ken and I to dedicate our lives to help people, as Ken says, who need a revenue shot in the backside.
Whether you want to just learn how or simply put, you need to generate revenue today. Our mission is to serve both.
Our worldwide staff of over 150 help to create amazing resources, our most famous being the iTunes podcast.
Today's growth. You got to check out episode 383. It's truly amazing.
And both Inc. and Forbes have shared that when it comes to generating revenue, Income Store is a can't miss. To grow your revenue today, check out IncomeStore.com.
That's IncomeStore.com.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
It is 6:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
On the Kennedy Expressway inbound, traffic is slow between Central and Lawrence, and then between Ogden and Ohio. It's 22 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound still fine at 20. Hedon's is looking pretty good. No problem. Freeport inbound or outbound. Inbound Eisenhower, it's tight between Demon and the Burns Circle. 32 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 29. Now Stevenson delays from Central to Kedzie and Ashland to the Ryan. 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 34. Inbound Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 15. I-57 Bishop Ford, delay free for now. We see no issues at the moment on the tollways. I-80 is wide open. No problems to report in Northwest Indiana. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. More clouds than sun, 36 today. Cloudy, a bit of snow toward dawn. Little or no accumulation overnight, low 28. Currently 18, next news at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Townstone Financial. Let Townstone.com show you how to pay off high-interest credit cards by using your home's value.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So 4 candidates for mayor are on your airwaves, television airwaves at least. You got your Chico, you got your Preckwinkle, you got your Mendoza, you got your Daley. But there's another dozen candidates that are doing the candidate forums and social media and getting around the city. And again, in a field this crowded, in a race where maybe 15% of the vote gets you into the runoff to April, it does have the possibility that a surprise could be in the offing, particularly as the city is in such bad shape and people are looking for something qualitatively different. I think a lot of people are, thus the number of candidates, not to mention just the idea of an open seat for mayor in Chicago is something that happens once a millennia or so.
Yeah, once in our lifetime.
So we're trying to get as many of the candidates, all the candidates who are willing to come on the show to discuss the issues and their plans and their candidacy, give them some time to do that as we roll towards the February 26th primary. And next up on the list is Dorothy Brown. She is the longtime clerk of the Circuit Court of Cook County. I believe she was elected in 2000. And
yesterday she made news because James Allen, the Board of Election Commissioner, says that she needs to prove that the 12,500 signatures are legitimate. They ruled that thousands of the names she submitted were suddenly and mysteriously ruled invalid.
Well, that's where we start. Is Dorothy Brown going to make the ballot, which needs to be printed fairly soon because of this petition challenge? Dorothy Brown, Cook County Circuit Clerk, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So where does that petition challenge stand? How confident are you that you're going to survive that, rehabilitate the signatures you need to, and be on the ballot come February 26th?
Well, there'll be a status hearing on today, and we feel really good. A lot of great volunteers, and so we're going to. They had people that really don't understand how to read signatures and that sort of thing, because just some of their staff, people that they hired off the street, actually ruling on signatures that and how it looks. I mean, my signature has changed in the last 20 years. Sometimes most people haven't updated their voter registration cards, but they couldn't figure out if the person was registered. They printed their name, and they couldn't figure out if the signature was proper. So there's going to be a handwriting expert that's paid for by the Chicago Board of Election that will go back and review those things that people ruled that the signature was not genuine, even though the person was registered at that address.
But you turned in 25,000 signatures to get on the ballot. So how did this happen?
Absolutely. And so, the thing that I talked about yesterday is the fact that Cook County actually controls and has access to the Chicago Board of Election system because they're joint systems. And when my numbers started to change, that they added a new 2,000 objections at the last minute, almost 2,000, I would say it was 1,700, at the last minute, this past Monday, as a matter of fact, after we had been reviewing signatures for a month, I said that there's something awry with that. The potential for fraud, they should have restricted access immediately to Cook County when the county board president, who the technology department at Cook County reports to, became a candidate in this race. But that's, so that's what we're dealing with, the potential for fraud and that sort of thing. So, we're just moving forward, dealing with the issues and how we're going to, bring change to Chicago.
Yeah, I just one final note on the signature issue. I saw this online video from Neil, is it Seals Griffin? Is that his name? Sales Griffin, the entrepreneur, young guy, tech entrepreneur, is running for mayor. And he made the point, because he was the subject of a petition challenge too, that the checkers ruled his mom's signature invalid. And he's like, I'm pretty sure it was my mom who signed my petition. So it's a fair point.
To be honest with you, these people are connected. These people that they've hired, they're connected. They actually, were telling me that they were saying that people were telling them, oh, Dorothy Brown will be all right, even if you don't rule in her favor. And then one person indicated to me that Ricky Hendon from the Willie Wilson campaign, because, I have two challenges, actually said that he paid some people to put some bad signatures within my
that doesn't
within
sound
my
like
set of signatures.
That doesn't sound like Hollywood
really
Hendon.
No,
no,
Ricky would
Hollywood
never do that.
Hendon. All right, so let's talk about your candidacy. Let's assume you'll be on the ballot. And so, what's the reason that Dorothy Brown is a candidate for mayor?
Well, the reason why I made the decision to run for mayor of the city of Chicago, because I just felt, and I continue to feel, that our educational system needs to be at a high quality. Education is my number one thing, because I feel that if we can properly educate all of our children, then they will have an alternative to crime. They'll be able to get good jobs. And so the education was my number one thing. And also I looked at the fact that, this city has been strangled whole by the political machine for far too long. And we need someone that is independent, like myself. I'm independent. I'm an independent Democrat. I'm unbought and I'm unbossed. And we need someone that has the background, experience, and the heart. This is not an oratorical competition. This is not a comedy routine. We had a lot of people doing that on last night. This is about someone that can actually manage this city and be fair and make sure that it's equitable to all of the citizens. I'm an attorney, and I can handle the legal lawmaking body of the city council. A lot of people do not realize that. I'm also a CPA and an MBA. Now, there are not many people who have passed the CPA exam and the bar exam. And so with my financial acumen, I can and lead the city into financial stability. And so I can handle the finances of the city. And then, of course, I feel that I have the heart. You can have the background and an experience, but if you don't have the heart to actually make sure that things are fair for everyone, then things will not get done properly for everyone. And so from the heart standpoint, I came from very humble beginnings. My mother was a cook and a domestic worker. My father was a laundry worker and a cotton farmer. And he took me and my 7 siblings to the cotton fields. And then I worked in a factory. See, I came from very humble beginnings, so I respect the least to the greatest. I came up very hard, and everything I've ever gotten, I had to earn it the hard way. So I know how to respect people. So that's why I want to put the hope back in the eyes of these young people that I see, for instance, hanging out on the streets of the West Side and looking at that economic development that hasn't changed since 1968. And so it's a travesty. We can do better. We must shift the paradigm of how things are done here in the city of Chicago.
Yeah, last night you were at the forum, you and 13 other candidates. Toni Preckwinkle, a no-show. Do you also feel that she should step down because of her connection to Alderman Ed Burke?
Well, absolutely. And I think that she should actually withdraw her petition challenge to me, just given the fact that her office has had the ability and continue to have the ability to make changes to the petition challenge system that the city is using. I can't understand why they would not have understood that needed to be blocked, that there should have been a firewall put up between Cook County and the city of Chicago. They can make changes to each other's system. They started using a joint system in 2011. And so it's really, she's kind of our president. She hasn't done a good job there either, because she was the first county board president where we actually had to lay people off where they had to go and probably file bankruptcy, lose their homes. Back in 2010, that was the first year, and I had been in office for 10 years at that point. I actually had to lay people off. A county board president that could not figure it out. Then the sugar pop tax, just all those things that she's done and just really hasn't done very well. It's a smoke and mirrors administration.
You're, as you mentioned, CPA, MBA, attorney. So you understand balance sheets. You're a green eye shades person. So what do we do?
Haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah, I'm very old. What
He's 90.
What do we do about $40 billion in unfunded pension liabilities? We got $1 billion balloon payment next year, and that's just to sort of maintain status quo, which is not maintainable for much longer. So what do we do about police and fire pensions?
Well, I say that, first of all, I'm not interested in changing, amending the Constitution to take away the right for people to be able to retire and be able to have and be in a position to take care of themselves. And so I'm going to, first of all, develop a long-term strategic plan for financial stability for the city as a whole in the long run, short-term and long-term. And then I want to evaluate the revenue streams that we already have in, because I feel that we're probably not actually collecting in the way that we should. We need to have better controls in place, ensure we actually are collecting the money that from the fees that we already have. And then I want to propose some new revenue streams. I have a proposal of actually having a city-sponsored lottery that is technology-based, whereby people can actually buy my lottery tickets anywhere in the world, and I feel that would bring a significant amount of funds in. And it's a shorter-term fix than building a casino. I'm fine with building having a city casino where we are actually earning the funds. And I'm also fine with legalizing marijuana, but I think that we have to actually have some more creative ideas. I want to look at how other cities, even small and large cities, are raising funds as well, because we have to do everything that we can to stabilize and fund the pension for these for workers that have worked too hard, and we have to give them their health care back, those retirees their health care back.
Well, so the issue of the endemic corruption in the city of Chicago has been raised with an exclamation point with Ed Burke's indictment, and you and your office have been subject to some federal inquiries over your time as Cook County Circuit Court clerk as well. Address some of the questions about the ethical conduct of your office over the years that are certainly going to be re-raised as a candidate for mayor.
Yeah, Dan. So, it's interesting because when I read some of the information, I didn't know where that came from, but I finally, after 2 years, got some insight to that situation. And these were individuals that I fired when I first got in office from the prior administration. They actually came after me in 2004. And when I looked in it, and there was a newspaper article in 2004 where they talked about some kind of fundraising scheme and that sort of thing. And the same information was in the some information I received from that I saw from the federal government. And I said, oh, these are the same individuals. They have been after me for a long time. And I actually called for the federal government to actually charge them with perjury. Anytime you tell an FBI agent an inaccuracy, that is actually perjury. You do not have to go before a grand jury. So all of those things are untrue. If I was taking the kind of money they were talking about, then I would probably not be trying to raise money or have the profit. I would have the money to actually have the campaign that and I would be on television as well. I have no money, so they said I was taking funds for jobs. My jobs, my Shacklin jobs were actually, and they were Shacklin jobs. They actually are selected through the computer, and so it was just blatant lies and trying to find ways to change my administration.
And so as far as you know, you are not a target at present of any federal investigation, as far as you know.
I have not. They have not talked to me. I could have been the target because I was the person that these individuals were actually trying to go after.
But you've never spoken to the FBI.
I've never spoken to them, and I'm sure that they have found out by now that I did nothing wrong. They took my phone as well back in 2015 and gave it back, and they did not find any texts that were discriminatory. That's where people actually text information. They didn't find any emails that were discriminatory. They haven't taped me saying anything discriminatory that was illegal. And so I have operated at the highest of integrity. That's how my parents raised me, and that's how I would continue to do. People will come after you, but you have to fight, and that's the same fight I'm going to bring to the city of Chicago.
All right. She is Dorothy Brown. Dorothy, where can people get more information about your candidacy website?
DorothyForMayor.com. They can go on my website and see information concerning my positions. Like me on Facebook also, and what I've been doing, Dan and Amy, I've been doing a countdown every day or evening or later in the evening at night. I actually do a Facebook Live, and we've been doing a countdown. We'll do a countdown until February 26th for the election day, and we talk about what happened that day and different parts of my platform.
I'm doing a countdown as well to my retirement in Naples, but it's a little bit different. Dorothy Brown.
He's tweeting it instead of Facebooking.
Candidate for mayor, clerk of circuit court, Cook County. Dorothy, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Very good. Thank you.
Always good to catch up, Dorothy. Thank you so much. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. The Schumer shutdown affecting 800,000 paychecks today, the lowest mortgage interest rates in 9 months, and a multi-million-dollar settlement with Fiat Chrysler. Those stories next.
If you could do something to protect your family with just 10 minutes effort, would you bother? If something should ever happen to you, that 10-minute effort could mean the difference between hardship and financial security for your loved ones. Life insurance is something most people don't like to think about. Too many people do nothing until it's too late. The reason? People expect it'll be a big hassle. Ethos changes all that. Ethos is modern life insurance for people who don't have the time for fine print, extra doctor's appointments, or hidden fees. Ethos is affordable. It only takes about 10 minutes to apply online, and you'll be taking the first step in ensuring your family has the help they need to maintain the life you're building for them, even if the unexpected happens. Ethos brings you choices that don't require an in-person meeting with an agent, and in most cases, there's no need for a doctor's appointment. Ethos, life insurance for the 21st century. Apply online in just 10 minutes. Get a free quote now at GetEthos.com. That's GetEthos.com. GetEthos.com.
Today would have been payday for about 800,000 federal employees, but their checks won't go out because Democrats Schumer and Pelosi continue to refuse funding for the president's border wall. The president in Texas yesterday meeting with Border Patrol agents and officials who support the wall as essential in their efforts to secure the border and deal with the illegal immigration crisis. Long-term mortgage interest rates this week reaching the lowest level in 9 months. Interest rates continue their downward trend. Freddie Mac says the average 30-year fixed-rate mortgage fell to 4.45% this week. Fiat Chrysler agreeing to pay a $305 million fine to the federal government over allegations that Chrysler cheated on emission standards on more than 100,000 vehicles. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
What are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
Well, what are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. Don't you remember me? Don't you know that we miss you?
Miss me? Who misses me?
You know, all your friends in the forest. The trees, the pond, that little fort that you made out of branches. We all miss you.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
The forest is not that far away. Have an adventure today. I'm sure your mom would take you.
You're right. I should get out. I want to have fun. Play in puddles, catch frogs, and climb trees. Hey, Mom!
Yeah, hon? Stephen, what is that in your hand?
It's my sense of adventure, Mom. It's telling me we need to get out of the house and have some fun in nature today.
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hey, if you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, then dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, and your dental health. Hey, Sean Hannity here. So what are you waiting for? Find out now if implants are for you. Successful implants don't come from an implant factory. Skill, treatment, installation, those are the main differences for successful lifelong implants. That's why you need to see Dr. Neruzzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Neruzzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants themselves. You need the experience, the skill, and honesty that over 25 years of dental implants brings, and you're going to be happy with your implant. It's not a mass production procedure because everyone is different. And Dr. Neruzzi wants to talk to you about dental implants today.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics at 630-232-7400. They're online at implantsforme.com.
Don't miss Dr. Duke Pesta, one of America's foremost authorities on the dangers of Common Core education. Hosted by Kingswood Academy in Darien on Friday evening, January 25th at 6:30. Dr. Pesta will reveal the chilling truth behind the Common Core national educational standards. You won't want to miss this special presentation exposing the real truths about Common Core. Register to hear Dr. Pesta at kingswoodacademy.org. That's kingswoodacademy.org.
Hi, I'm Glenn Papura, principal at Kingswood Academy. We're a Catholic grade school that uses a virtue-based curriculum. We believe in forming each child's intellect and character through classical literature, Latin, and logical reasoning, while also giving due attention to math and the sciences. In our morally sound and spiritually enriching environment, children learn to think for themselves and benefit from a low teacher-to-student ratio. I invite you to attend our open house on Sunday, January 27th. For more information, visit kingswoodacademy.org. That's kingswoodacademy.org.
The quivers, the shivers, goosebumps. That's what our customers say before 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning repairs their furnace. Call us. We'll fix it right, stand by our work, and give you our straightforward pricing, which means no hourly charges. How's that for goosebumps? Right now, get big savings on any heating repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
What's happening? What does it mean? Why is it important? We've got the answer. AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
It's supposed to be payday for some federal workers, but it's not. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
What do we want? What do we want? Yeah.
There were protests in Texas, Illinois, Kentucky, Utah, and Colorado.
I thought about filing for unemployment. I'm going to have to if they don't see reason by the end of this week.
800,000 federal workers won't get paychecks in the next 2 days. This is day 21 of the partial government shutdown, tying a record set in 1996.
We should be able to make a deal with Congress.
But Democrats still refuse to give President Trump funding for a wall, so he's considering declaring a national emergency.
I'm allowed to do it. The law is 100% on my side.
Some Democrats disagree and would challenge him in court. The president made his case again for the wall at the border. Fox's Jared Halpern's live in McAllen, Texas.
Before a tour of the Rio Grande with Border Patrol agents, President Trump was briefed by Homeland Security officials and local officials like McAllen Mayor Jim Darling, who, with reporters after that visit, offered some nuance about new border wall construction here.
They have barricades where they make sense, where the Border Patrol wants them to do that. You take into consideration, however, archaeological matters. You take into consideration property owners' rights.
Darling says there also needs to be a focus on legal ports of entry, beefing up the bridges and checkpoints vital to the economy. Dave.
Jared, a 13-year-old Wisconsin girl missing since her parents were found murdered in their home in October, found alive.
Flagging down a neighbor out walking her dog. Quote, I am Jamie Kloss. I need help. Authorities descend, take her into protective custody. A lone suspect arrested just minutes later.
That's Paul Bloom with Fox 9 TV in Barron, Wisconsin. In Davis, California, a rookie police officer shot and killed responding to a car crash. She was only 22. The suspected gunman was later found dead. It's believed he shot himself. This is Fox News.
Partly cloudy and 20 degrees. It's 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. National Weather Service issuing a winter storm watch for a good chunk of central and southern Illinois. As much as 7 inches of snow will fall there. Only 1 to 3 inches over the weekend in the Chicago area, most of that south of I-80. Police are investigating this morning following allegations that an Evanston Township High School employee may have had inappropriate contact with students. School officials say they learned of the accusations earlier this week. A young girl is dead, 2 adults seriously hurt following a major crash on Lower Wacker Drive in Chicago. Police say a Mazda hit an Acura while making a U-turn, causing a girl inside the Mazda to be thrown from the vehicle. Candidate for mayor of Chicago, Toni Preckwinkle, forced to defend a campaign ad that highlights her role in exposing the Laquan McDonald police shooting. The board president yesterday was forced to stand by that ad.
Was the release of the autopsy report to the family and to the activists and to the folks who were suing to get the videotape released that made it possible for us to know the truth about Laquan McDonald's murder.
Community activists and other candidates are blasting Preckwinkle, accusing her of taking way too much credit for any role that she may have played. 2 are wounded following a drive-by shooting on Chicago's South Side. The victim standing near 50th and South Drexel when someone in a dark-colored vehicle opened fire. The shooting led to a safety lockdown at nearby Revis Elementary and the Diet School for the Arts. Chicago sports. Fighting Illini fall to number 4 Michigan in Big Ten hoops, 79-69. The news, a service of InvisibleFence.com. Millions of pet parents trust Invisible Fence brand with their pet's Invisible Fence. Consumer Digest awarded Boundary Plus technology guaranteed to protect your pet from escaping while providing them with the freedom they deserve. Visit InvisibleFence.com to learn more. That's InvisibleFence.com. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and you'll have to wait until spring to get the outside of your house painted, but winter, perfect opportunity to get your interior painted. You know, people walk into my kitchen and ask, Amy, did you get new cabinets? No, I save myself thousands of dollars by simply having them painted by the experts at CertaPro Painters. So cross the first project off your 2019 to-do list. CertaPro Painters will ensure a beautiful transformation of your home. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered. In-home with a color consultation or online with their color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money. Easy to learn, easy to use, small business software tailored just for you. With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Start out the new year with brand new custom window treatments from Blinds.com. Cellular shades, wood blinds, Roman shades, and more. Whatever you have in mind, they can help you reimagine one room or your entire home for less than almost any other home improvement. Go to Blinds.com now through January 15th for a guaranteed 25% off with promo code LIGHT. Get a guaranteed 25% off with promo code LIGHT. Rules and restrictions apply.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
Oh, no colds, no flu, lots of energy, just overall well-being. It's just if I stop taking it, I see the difference. You know, I would never stop with these. I would keep them on hand always.
well, I got more energy for sure. I don't feel the same if I don't take this every day. I think it's improved my life greatly because I was feeling real sluggish before, sluggish and tired. I had like this brain fog. It's all gone now. I've been taking this stuff, and I feel like I have the energy of an 18-year-old with the looks of a 30-year-old, and I'm 50. It's crazy. This stuff is crazy. I love it.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Get your free credit scorecard today, even if you're not a Discover customer. It includes your FICO credit score, and checking your scorecard won't hurt your credit. Learn more at discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply.
7:07. Let's get an update on those important roadwork issues in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Edens Expressway outbound traffic is jammed. Montrose to be 4-2 crash. 2 left lanes are blocked. 45 minutes from Montrose to Lake Cook. Inbound 21. Kennedy, delays start at Austin. You get 28 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 15 from Montrose, 16 on the Express. Outbound 28 minutes to the airport. Delays, pockets from Coster to Harlem. About Eisenhower tight, Kensington to the Burns Circle. 34 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 35. Mount Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 35. Ryan is 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 good. Mission Ford, you got a 5-minute delay approaching Verge. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, delays Fullerton to Michigan Avenue, crash to the right lane. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center and meteorologist Steve Williams.
Today, more clouds than sun. Look for a high of 36. Cloudy with a bit of snow toward dawn. Tonight, little or no accumulation, low 28. Cloudy with some snow tomorrow. Accumulations up to an inch. The high tomorrow at 33. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 20 at O'Hare, 27 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Amy had to depart for the final half of the show on a personal matter, but she'll be back Monday, so I'm left to try and tackle Brett Baer all by myself. I'll do my best. President Trump addressing the assembled D.C. press corps yesterday before making his way down to McAllen, Texas. And you want to play the anecdote game with President Trump, do you, D.C. press corps? There's human pain on one side, federal employees missing a paycheck. And it's not to be discounted. That's an uncomfortable position. You have empathy for anybody that is in financial straits, right? But there's another source of human pain that the D.C. press corps is less interested to discuss, and that's where the president interceded.
Well, you know who has more human pain? The parents of people who had children killed by an illegal immigrant that should have never been in the country. You know who has more human pain? The husband that lost the wife, or the wife that lost the husband to an illegal immigrant that came in 5 or 6 times that shouldn't be here.
And one of those individuals who knows all about that human pain, Reggie Singh, he's the brother of fallen Newman, California police officer Ranil Singh. And you'll remember Reggie, he was at the press conference after law enforcement in California made an arrest in his brother's murder. You ready for some human pain? Not to be exploitive, but to provide some balance? Reggie on December 28th.
I wish I could thank all the law enforcement agencies, Homeland Security in San Francisco, everyone, Bakersfield team. I was waiting for this to happen. I'd like to thank you, working day and night, to make this happen.
And Reggie and his brother O'Neill are legal immigrants from Fiji, emigrated to this country legally. Reggie sat down with Martha McCallum at Fox this week, and he had this to say about the president's position and what he'd like to see done so families like his don't have to endure the pain that he is enduring.
If he would have been deported, my brother would be alive right now. I would not be doing this interview. What I truly feel about this is, if we make our immigration law stricter, if we take action and not allow an illegal immigrant to get second chance, I think that, we could minimize the crime rate we are having.
For more on this and other issues, we got Beto, the border, press corps, Manafort, Trump Jr., Cohen. We got a lot to cover, so let's get right to it. We're pleased to be joined again by Bret Baier, the anchor of Special Report, 5 p.m. Chicago time, weekdays, of course, and the book, again, 3 Days in Moscow, Ronald Reagan and the Fall of the Soviet Empire. Bret, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Morning.
Morning. So, just picking up on the shutdown, partial shutdown, and plus the border security issue. The president reiterated yesterday that he believes he has the absolute right to declare a national emergency, and if Pelosi and Schumer continue to be unreasonable from his point of view, that he is inclined to do that. Do you see anything, even what was floated yesterday, the idea of restarting DACA as a possibility to get Pelosi and Schumer off the dime to reach some accord, or are we going to the president taking executive action?
I think it's the latter. There was hope at the beginning of the week, midweek, that Lindsey Graham was going to be able to cobble together some coalition to do some compromise. And frankly, Democrats are not moving. They're not moving off of no at all. So I don't think it's going to move, but we'll see. I mean, today is the first day that the paychecks have not gone out. So the whole thing ratchets up about 5 notches. And once you get through the weekend and into Monday, you'll be seeing all kinds of different reports about, people not getting their paychecks. And, what that all means. So the pressure mounts up. I think Democrats wanted to get to this point. This is my thought, and just from informed talking on Capitol Hill to people up there, lobbyists, lawmakers, both sides of the aisle. And they think that this is a leverage point for them. I also sat in that off the record at the White House with President Trump. And I got the sense that he's not moving off this. So either somebody comes forward with some piece of compromise legislation, and he's ready to sign basically anything that gets his border security, stepped up.
Yeah, I mean,
either that,
I'm sorry,
or he's going to do the national emergency, and I think probably the latter as we look at the landscape.
Yeah, there's been a lot of opining about whether the politics of this and whether or not this is politically advantageous for the president as he eyes 2020, or the Democrats as they eye 2020, and is pouring over the polls. But I thought Matt Gaetz from Florida, congressman from Florida, said something interesting, just relaying to Lou Dobbs this anecdote of a conversation he apparently had with the president, where the president said to him, according to him, that, look, I'm going to the mat on this, and if I die, I'm going to die with my boots on. And, was that important to his campaign? I think he understands it. It seems to me that it's that important to his success or failure as a president, at least in his first term. And that there is not going to be any, walk away, we'll open the government and continue talking type of concession by the president.
Yeah, and the crazy part is that Democrats have such an opportunity. I mean, they could get so much stuff that they really wanted to get. If there's any president who could get it across the finish line for some comprehensive or at least semi-comprehensive immigration reform bill, this is the one.
Right.
This is your chance. I mean, if you want DACA, if you want, I don't know, all the kind of technology on the border, if you want some change to the law as far as asylum seekers, to make it easier for some, to make it tougher for others, all of that could be in. This is a guy who, once he signs on to a piece of legislation, can really move numbers as far as votes, and yet they haven't even put one counteroffer on the table.
What's the feeling at the White House and in the upper reaches of the Republican caucuses on the Hill about the developments this week with Manafort, with the suggestion that Trump Jr. will be subpoenaed, and that, of course, yesterday Michael Cohen scheduled to testify before Congress on February 7th. What's the feeling about the state of play in the collusion investigation?
I think the feeling is that it's probably before the end of the month, something is going to happen. Whether it's more indictments, whether it's the actual Mueller report. There's a lot of on both sides of the aisle questioning of what's the timeline, and we've been dealing with that for several weeks. But it feels like it's coming to a head. I said it was going to be before February back in December, and I think it's still that way. And as far as the other investigations, the House is going to step up, and once you start getting these people testifying in public, then you have a president who will react to what's on TV, and it won't be good.
Right, if what you say does come to pass, it makes for, oh boy, will that be a raucous State of the Union address at the end of the month?
Exactly.
That will not be a pro forma State of the Union.
No, and just think about the image there. I mean, it's whatever the president is going to say about all of that, and Nancy Pelosi's over his right shoulder.
And I also wanted to know if you'll be live streaming your next teeth cleaning. I think our listeners are interested in that. We're fascinated by our betters like Beto O'Rourke and the mundanities of their lives. We want to see that Facebook Live. We want to see everything they're doing every moment. What do you make of that and what that portends for political coverage in 20? Okay. I think that about says it all right there.
I think I was talking to people about it last night, and I think that's jumping the shark. I mean, once you have the thing sucking the saliva out of your mouth as you're live doing the Instagram, and you're sharing that moment, he's already been sharing like cooking dinner, so it's sort of like the Truman Show, right? And at some point you jump the shark, and people say, okay, this is enough. I think that might have been yesterday. The Twitter response was quite something. Twitter is a dark place. Sometimes you look at my Twitter feed, it can be very, very dark, but it's also funny. And once that meme came out of him doing that, some guy said, "Oh no, I can't believe it, and I really don't want to see Bernie Sanders' colonoscopy."
Yeah. I mean, and like with virtual reality games now, I mean, you could be like the doctor. You really get your hand up in there. I mean, that could be a real sort of interactive experience. Wouldn't that be fun?
Moon River.
Using the whole hand, Doc. All right, Brett Baer. And I mean, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that I picked the right place to sojourn over the holidays.
Yes.
I ran into one Brett Baer at Naples National playing the group behind him. And I mean, Brett, I'll let you tell the story because I know it was life-changing for you. Tell him about the tell him about the drive that I hit with you as my witness.
I tell you what, he piped a drive right down the middle. And what I have to say is that obviously you are not spending a lot of time behind the microphone because there's a lot of practice going on there. That game looks pretty strong.
The show ends at 9. I'm out at 9:01. I tee off about 9:45. Yeah.
You got a good swing, man. We have to play sometime.
Yeah, definitely. I know you're a good player. It was fun to see you, and fun as always to have you. Bret Baier, special report, 5 p.m. Chicago time. The book, again, you want to pick up, 3 Days in Moscow, Ronald Reagan and the Fall of the Soviet Empire. Bret, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Jim.
And he joined us on Turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hi, I'm attorney Stephen Leahy, and I help business owners, 1099 employees, and those with unfiled tax returns solve their IRS problems. And I'm also the host of the IRS Radio Hour.
And I'm Jim Leahy, the co-host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard right here every Sunday evening at 5 on AM 560.
The Answer. I know you want a local attorney you can look in the eye and hold accountable for solving your IRS problem, not some big box outfit without a Chicago connection. So today we have a special offer. A good night's sleep.
A good night's sleep? Are you trying to give away a pillow?
Great guess, Jim. But no, I want to help people solve the problems that are keeping them up at night. If you fear the IRS will take away your money, freeze your bank account, garnish your wages, visit your home or job, and now they can take away your passport, you need to hire me to solve your IRS problem for good.
Call attorney Stephen Leahy, your Chicago IRS answer man at 312-664-6649, 312-664-6649, and get the IRS out of your business and your life for good.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and you'll have to wait until spring to get the outside of your house painted, but winter, perfect opportunity to get your interior painted. You know, people walk into my kitchen and ask, Amy, did you get new cabinets? No, I save myself thousands of dollars by simply having them painted by the experts at CertaPro Painters. So cross the first project off your 2019 to-do list. CertaPro Painters will ensure a beautiful transformation of your home. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered. In-home with a color consultation or online with their color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
It's actually really been helping my system and my lupus and my gastro problems. So I'm actually very happy with the product.
Acid reflux is pretty much under control. That's why I keep taking it.
I have noticed, I'm sleeping better since I started taking the Balance of Nature and all the other things I'm doing. I can't believe how wonderful your product is. I listened to you guys on the radio for years and years and years, and I listened to all the testimonials. I go, well, it's probably time to give it a try, and I've been just happy as can be ever since.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Let's think about customization presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty Mutual customizes your auto insurance so you only pay for what you need. So why aren't more things in life customizable? Like, why do I have to pay a full gym membership when I don't even use all the equipment? Like the rowing machine. I don't know about you, but I'm not doing a ton of manual lake travel these days.
Go to libertymutual.com for a customized quote and you could save.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Equal housing insurer.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years.
He was in big trouble.
We're going to take your house, garnish your pay.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm, and rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau.
I don't owe the IRS anymore. It was because of Optima Tax.
Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-709-7022. 800-709-7022.
Optima Tax Relief.
For details, visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and boy, I tell you, a couple of stories out of Florida that could easily, and you would expect to be, originating in Illinois about the lack of accountability and the second and third and infinite number of chances people in public office get no matter their performance. I'm talking about Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel, and I'm talking about Broward County Election Supervisor Brenda Snipes. Yeah. The sheriff who presided over the Parkland school shooting and the election supervisor who presided over this latest recount this last November, right, with the DeSantis race, the governor's race, and Scott against Nelson, the Senate race. Not exactly on the stick in terms of votes being counted in a timely fashion, transparency in disclosing how many votes were left to be counted and when that was happening. Well, Wednesday this week, a federal judge appointed by Barack Obama, District Judge Mark Walker, specifically ruled that the newly inaugurated governor, DeSantis, should be afforded a meaningful opportunity to be heard, quote unquote, regarding her suspension by outgoing Governor Rick Scott. She was suspended by the governor, by Scott, for multiple violations of Florida law, incompetence and neglect of duty. Those are all materially obvious. She filed suit, trying to get reinstated, and now there's yet another bureaucratic process that she's going to be afforded, a hearing process she's going to be afforded, even though she was an executive appointee. I don't know what the federal government has to do in this sort of personnel matter. She was appointed by Jeb Bush. So we'll continue to follow Brenda Snipes because, you know, Broward County and the state of Florida in 2020 could be important. I'm just saying. And then Scott Israel. Scott Israel. You remember Scott Israel and some of his famous interviews, like the one with Jake Tapper after that horror in Parkland about what a great job he's doing.
There needed to be a report, and that's what we're looking into, that a report needed to be completed. It needed to be forwarded to our either Homeland Security or Violent Crimes Unit, and they would have followed up on it.
That's from your notes. That's from notes released by your office. I'm not making this up. This is from Broward.
No, and that's what the officer who handled that is on restrictive duty, and that's an active internal investigation, and we are looking into it. I can't tell you, I can't predict how an investigation's going, but I've exercised my due diligence. I've led this county proudly, as I always have. We have restricted that deputy as we look into it. Their deputies make mistakes, police officers make mistakes, we all make mistakes, but it's not the responsibility of the general or the president if you have a deserter. You look into this, we're looking into this aggressively, and we'll take care of it, and justice will be served.
Boy, doesn't it sound like Illinois? The buck stops somewhere else.
Are you really not taking any responsibility for the multiple red flags that were brought to the attention of the Broward Sheriff's Office about this shooter before the incident, whether it was people near him, close to him, calling the police on him?
Jake, I could only take responsibility for what I about. I exercise my due diligence. I've given amazing leadership to this agency.
Amazing leadership?
I've worked... Yes, Jake. There's a lot of things we've done throughout this. You don't measure a person's leadership by a deputy not going into these deputies received the training they needed.
Maybe you measure somebody's leadership by whether or not they protect the community. In this case, you've listed 23 incidents before the shooting involving the shooter, and still, nothing was done to keep guns out of his hands, to make sure that the school was protected, to make sure you were keeping an eye on him. Your deputy at the school failed. I don't understand how you can sit there and claim amazing leadership.
Jake, on 16 of those cases, our deputies did everything right. Our deputies have done amazing things. We've taken this, in the 5 years I've been sheriff, we've taken the Broward Sheriff's Office to a new level. I work with some of the bravest people I've ever met. One person, at this point, one person didn't do what he should have done.
Sort of an amazing statement to make with 17 dead children in the wake, talking about how great you are, the amazing work you've done. You know, why don't we focus on the good things, not the dead bodies at Parkland High School? At the high school in Parkland, I should say. Stoneman Douglas. DeSantis, the incoming governor, the rumor is that he's going to suspend Israel. And then probably Israel will file the same Brenda Snipes lawsuit in federal court, and he'll get another hearing and another hearing. It's tough to remove people from government. Think about that during the partial shutdown. Coming up next, speaking of the partial shutdown, we're going to talk to Mark Morgan. He's the former Customs and Border Protection Patrol Chief, CPB Chief, for one President Obama. What does he think of Trump's intransigence on funding for the wall? That's at 7:37. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Gray skies this morning, 22 degrees. The president says increased border security is just common sense. Visiting a border region in Texas yesterday, the president says a border wall or other physical barrier is just the right thing to do.
Mexico's going to pay for the wall. Do you think they're going to write a check for $20 billion or $10 billion or $5 billion or 2 cents? No, they're paying for the wall in a great trade deal.
President's demand for border wall funding is at the heart of the ongoing partial government shutdown, where House Speaker Nancy Pelosi argues the president is giving a false narrative on what happened during their meeting this week.
He has not told the truth when he said he asked me if in 30 days I would support border security, and I said no. He knows, the people in the room know, that that was not what happened.
Pelosi says she believes the president had no true intentions of negotiating. AT&T this morning says it will stop selling customers' location data to third-party tracking services. Yesterday's announcement came after senators asked the FCC to investigate whether those sales violated your privacy. Stock futures are down this morning as U.S. markets follow a softening dollar. A Wisconsin teen who went missing when her parents were murdered in October has been found alive. Jamie Kloss apparently managed to escape her captor yesterday and sought help from a woman out for a walk.
Our neighbor came up to our door with her big dog, and she kind of flung the door open and said, "Call 911, this is Jamie Kloss."
That's Kristen Kasinkas, who says she recognized Kloss immediately and made that call. She says the 13-year-old to her looked tired and thin, a bit unkempt, but overall okay. Authorities took a suspect into custody shortly after receiving that 911 call. Watch out for the snow in Illinois, up to 7 inches in central and southern Illinois, 1 to 3 inches for the Chicago area, most of that snow south of I-80. A young girl is dead this morning. 2 adults seriously hurt following a crash on Lower Wacker Drive. And embattled Alderman Ed Burt cast a long shadow on the Chicago mayoral race yesterday. The criminally charged 14th Ward Alderman was a major topic of conversation during a Channel 9 hosted mayoral forum last night at Steinmetz High School. Chicago sports, it was number 4 Michigan, topping Illinois, 79-69. The Bulls continue their 5-game road trip tonight facing Golden State. The News is a service of Discover. Get your free credit scorecard today. Even if you're not a Discover customer, include your FICO credit score, and checking your scorecard won't hurt your credit. Learn more at discover.com/credit scorecard, and limitations apply. 7:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager backs the president's convictions.
Reality trumps Trump. He had no convictions of which I was aware, and I opposed him vociferously when he was running for the nomination for president. Since he's been president, he has been a man of conservative convictions, the likes of which I have only seen once in my lifetime in a leader called Ronald Reagan.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Let's think about customization, presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty Mutual customizes your auto insurance so you only pay for what you need. So why aren't more things in life customizable? Like, why do I have to pay a full gym membership when I don't even use all the equipment? Like the rowing machine. I don't know about you, but I'm not doing a ton of manual lake travel these days.
Go to libertymutual.com for a customized quote and you could save.
Liberty, liberty, liberty. Liberty, Liberty.
Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Equal housing insurer.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years.
He was in big trouble.
We're going to take your house, garnish your pay.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm, and rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau.
I don't owe the IRS anymore. It was because of Optima Tax.
Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-709-7022. 800-709-7022.
Optima Tax Relief.
For details, visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's premier home purchase lender. Today's fluctuating interest rates can leave you with unexpected higher mortgage payments. At Quicken Loans, we've created a new way to protect you from unpredictable interest rates so you can buy a home with certainty. It's called Rate Shield, and here's how it works. With Rate Shield, you can lock your interest rate while you shop for a new home. So if rates go up, you don't have to worry. And here's the best part. If rates go down, you get the lower rate. With Rate Shield, we really have you covered. Here are more reasons why you'll want to work with America's largest mortgage lender. For 9 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 5th year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Rate Shield. Another way we can save you money on your mortgage. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Based on Rocket Mortgage data in comparison to public data records. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year purchase transactions. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender license in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply.
7:37 and a check on your morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Southbound Lakeshore Drive, traffic is jammed. Belmont to Michigan Avenue. The right lane just reopened after a crash. Northbound delays, Lakeshore Drive, 18th Drive to Roosevelt, and Bryn Mawr to Hollywood. Gap on Edens is heavy. Montrose to before Toohey after an earlier collision. 25 minutes, Montrose to Lake Cook, inbound 19. On Kennedy, 28 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 31. On Eisenhower, 36 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 32. Stevenson, 46 minutes, 355 to the drive. It's fine outbound. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95 to downtown. Tollways are looking good. Indiana Toll Road westbound. Stop and go. Portage Interchange, 94. Crash to the 2 right lanes. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, more clouds than sun today. High near 36. Cloudy, bit of snow toward dawn. Low 28. Currently 22. Next news coming up at 8. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Amy will be back on Monday. If doubting Jim Acosta doesn't see migrants trying to enter this country illegally, is it really happening? Jim Acosta, live from outside McAllen, Texas.
And here are some of the steel slats that the president's been talking about right here. As you can see, yes, you can see through these slats to the other side of the U.S.-Mexico border. But as we're walking along here, we're not seeing any kind of imminent danger. There are no migrants trying to rush toward this fence here in the McAllen, Texas area. As a matter of fact, there are some other businesses behind me along this highway. There's a gas station, Burger King, and so on. But no sign of the national emergency that the president has been talking about. As a matter of fact, it's pretty tranquil down here.
Setting aside the fact that Jim Acosta is saying these things standing next to a fence for a moment, maybe they just didn't want to be on CNN. But here's the thing. Chip Roy, who's a congressman from Texas, writing in the Federalist, Federalist.com, since 2011 in Texas alone, 175,000 illegal aliens have been charged with more than 437,000 criminal offenses. And he also recounts a particularly tragic incident, which sort of gives form to at least one of the issues, which is violent crime. Last summer in San Antonio, an illegal immigrant needlessly killed a young and vibrant Texan named Jared Vargas. Law enforcement apprehended the murderer multiple times but released him. His final release just days before he killed Jared. And that's sort of what President Trump is talking about, the Jim Acosta type reporting, the effort to conceal or gaslight the American public into thinking that all of the data that we know from these law enforcement agencies is what, just made up. President Trump getting a little frustrated at the press gaggle before he headed down to the border yesterday, and also broke a little bit of news about the nature of this ongoing humanitarian crisis with more migrants, another caravan forming.
You can all play cute, and I'd say 80% of you are possibly in coordination with the opposition party. I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. All you have to do is look at the borders, rent a helicopter, except you don't want to know the truth, and watch. And by the way, here's the story. There is another major caravan forming right now in Honduras. And so far, we're trying to break it up. But so far, it's bigger than anything we've seen. And a drone isn't going to stop it. And a sensor isn't going to stop it. But you know what's going to stop it in its tracks? A nice, powerful wall.
Going back to Chip Roy's piece in The Federalist, he offers, fences have worked since the dawn of time. We currently have 46 miles of reinforced fencing along the San Diego sector of the border. Before construction began in 1986, there were 629,000 plus arrests. Compare that to the 31,000 plus arrests in 2016. Fences are, in fact, a viable 21st century solution. All right, well, let's get an expert opinion on the topic. We're pleased to be joined next by Mark Morgan, who is the former Customs and Border Protection Agency chief under President Obama. Mark, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
You bet. Glad to be here.
So the data that's being offered by the president, offered by him on Tuesday night, the data you heard me recount from Congressman Roy's commentary, I mean, is that the truth of it? Do we have this humanitarian crisis? The nature of the migrants is different. It's not single men so much as it is families. And the combination of resources at the border plus the laws that are in effect in terms of how Border Patrol must handle the individuals trying to enter this country is really presenting all the problems that the president has been laying out for these many months.
That's correct. And everything that you just said in the opening, you're absolutely 100% everything you just said. The President of the United States is also absolutely correct in everything he's saying. Back in 2016, when I was chief of the Border Patrol, I was saying the same thing. I was saying we have a humanitarian crisis as well as a national security crisis, and that was back in 2016. I would say that you could argue that on both of those fronts, it's gotten worse, not better. So when he says that this is a humanitarian and national security crisis, I'm telling you, he is absolutely correct. And keep in mind, that's not just from my time as chief of the United States Border Patrol, and we can discuss that further. But I also did 2 decades in the FBI. Mm-hmm. And part of that time, I led the FBI's office in the El Paso division, the really only division in the FBI that's truly a border office. I mean, from my window seat in my office, I could see Juarez. And what's real and what's not manufactured is the warring cartels. They're warring with each other. They're killing each other. And why are they doing that? They're doing it because they're fighting for the human trafficking routes. They're doing it for the drug routes. They're doing it for the illegal immigration routes. That's a lie. That's real. And that's not manufactured.
Nancy Pelosi says, well, look, if you build a wall, they'll just tunnel under it, El Chapo style. So there's no point to it. How do you react to that?
I know, right. I mean, I've got to believe, and I do believe, the American people they see through that and the absurdity to that. So here's the thing. So go to the experts. Go to the United States Border Patrol agents that have been risking their lives, by which 127 to date have died defending our borders and on the front line. Go to them, the experts that do it and live it every single day. Stop listening to political pundits that haven't spent 2 minutes on the border, let alone 2 decades as some of these Border Patrol agents have done risking their lives. Go to them and ask them. Tunnels. Let's just take a look at that. Tunnels. Are there tunnels? Yes. Have they been effective at times? Yes. But my question is so because the wall as part of a multi-layered approach of infrastructure, technology, and personnel, because it could get defeated in some ways. We just don't do it. I mean, that's ridiculous. In San Diego that you just talked about, absolutely, there's areas of secondary and tertiary level of wall, of fencing, along with technology and personnel. If you look at that, it is absolutely historical, proven data where the immigration, illegal immigration went down by 90%. Violent crime, all crime, almost went away on both sides. Metropolitan areas have thrived again. But guess what? In the same area, there's still tunnels. So yeah, the bad guys are going to constantly change their tactics, and procedures. But that doesn't mean the wall won't be effective. That doesn't mean the wall won't drastically reduce illegal immigration and other really bad things coming through the borders. We'll continue to increase our technology, the ground sensors, and getting better and better with that. But to say that there could be something that it could be defeated, therefore let's not do it. Right? I mean, that's absurd.
Yeah, I hear you. And Congressman Crenshaw down in Texas said the same thing. Tunnels, yeah, sure, could tunnels be built? And yeah, at some point somebody will probably notice them. And so, right, there's always going. I mean, the argument, the Pelosi argument, is the argument to have no laws whatsoever because there's a law against murder. Somebody commits a murder. Well, then that's not working. So let's repeal the law.
Exactly.
Yeah, I wanted to get your take too. The response to the murder of Newman, California police officer Ronil Singh by a person in this country illegally, the response from the left has been to say, well, that's, it's tragic, but it's anecdotal. So essentially, it's not really a problem. And that sort of got under Trump's skin yesterday, too, basically saying the Democrats don't give a damn about crime. What about the sort of lack of coverage, as much empathy as being heaped in the direction of federal employees missing a paycheck? The D.C. press corps, many politicians sort of don't want to confront the reality of events like the murder of Ronil Singh, it seems to me.
Exactly. And I tell you, so remember, I was hired as chief under President Obama. President Trump removed me as chief. And I want that to sink in for a second. And so I'm here today. President Trump, his administration removed me as chief. And I'm here today, and I've been speaking out to tell you that he's right. And what he's doing in all areas of border security, he's right. To include, when I see him speak, and he is outraged, the fact that any American has died at the hands of a illegal immigrant, especially a police officer, especially Officer Singh's story, right? The fact that everyone is not equally outraged, that says a lot of where we're at in this country. And in my opinion, it's saying that we are looking at the facts and we are looking at this very difficult problem through our individual political ideological lens instead of looking at it through facts and with compassion. How can that not move you? I was on the show, Laura Ingraham, last night, and I was so impressed with her because as she's talking to a family, a mother and father whose son had been killed by illegal immigrant, it was real. She was getting emotional. And I said, every American here should get emotional. And my question to the Democrats are, I don't want to be political. My question to anybody who's not moved by that, who doesn't see that as a crisis is, how many? How many is enough? How many American citizens that are going to die at the hands of a illegal immigrant is enough? 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, stop me. It's thousands. And right now we're saying that we have a strategy that we know works and we can prove it works, of which a wall is an integral part of that multi-layered infrastructure, technology, and personnel approach. It works, and we're saying that it's absolutely going to dramatically reduce that type of strategy. And we got people that say, no, we don't need it.
Well,
I don't get it.
Yeah, and the whole just talking point of some politicians that, it's a very small fraction of persons here illegally that go on to commit other violent crimes. Yeah, true. It's the same argument they use about Islamofascists, Islamic-inspired terrorists. It's a very small fraction of Muslims around the world. Well, yeah, that's true. But here's the thing. A small fraction of a big number is a big problem.
Absolutely. And again, I do believe the American people are smarter than that to see through that argument. That, okay, so the argument is because a small percentage of the illegal immigrants are committing these heinous crimes, then what? We don't do anything about it?
Right.
Right?
Right.
I mean, that's absurd. No, what we're saying is, yeah, we got it. And here's another thing. If you go to the United States Border Patrol, those same agents, the same 127 agents have died protecting our borders, the same agents that are saying that, yes, a wall works. You know what those agents are going to say as well? They're going to say, we don't want to stop good people from coming in. No, we don't want that. What's ironic about a lot of these Border Patrol agents, they're from other countries as well. A lot of them are Mexican nationals. I mean, many of them have spouses in Mexico or other countries, and they still have families there. So the irony is unbelievable, which is not being reported. But no, they're not saying that. What they're saying is, hey, look, we understand that a small amount of illegal immigrants commit these crimes. So what we're saying is, but we have a solution that we feel strongly and can show you with data that will dramatically reduce those people from getting in the country.
I wanted to get just any insights you care to offer about your time in the Obama administration and conversations like the one we're having internally during your time as the Customs and Border Protection Chief. I mean, as President Trump has mentioned before, a lot of these Democrats, including former President Obama, previously supported border security funding, including for the wall, talked about the need to make sure that we have a secure southern border, that we know who is coming into this country and what they intend to do when they get here. I mean, for decades, back to Bill Clinton and then Barack Obama, Chuck Schumer, President Trump has made this point. But what was it like in the Obama administration? Do you sense a real shift in Democrat political positioning on this issue as compared to just a few years ago when you were the chief?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And look, you don't have to listen to me. Go back in history and look at a couple of things that are factual, and that's what I try to do. Let's take the individual political ideology out of it. Let's look at facts, and let's listen to what people said. So go back to 2006 and look at everybody across both aisles, right? A bipartisan approach. Everybody was supporting border security. They supported building a wall. They called it a fence. It's a wall. Come on, it's semantics. A wall, physical barrier, fence. It's ridiculous. It's absurd that we're delineated what's immoral or not by what you call it. Let's look at the facts. In 2006, the Secure Fence Act, a bipartisan bill that was passed. Everybody on both sides of the aisle were saying this is an issue. We have to stop illegal immigration. We have to stop bad people from coming in and doing bad things. We have to stop the flow of drugs. It's getting into our cities all throughout this country. That was back in 2006. The same stuff that they were saying on a bipartisan approach that led to the 2006 Secure Fence Act that resulted in 700 miles of wall being built is the same thing that's being said now by the current administration, and it's being rejected by the same people that supported it then. It's absurd. It's a travesty, and this is absolutely a political issue, and the American people are suffering because of it.
He is Mark Morgan, former U.S. Customs and Border Protection Chief during the Obama administration. Mark, thanks so much for joining us, providing your insights. Appreciate it.
You bet. Anytime.
Thank you. And you joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
What's the big deal in retirement?
The big deal in retirement is income.
Bill Geiger can help you create it. Listen to Grow My Retirement, Saturday afternoons at 2 with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth Management. Bill translates today's complex retirement issues into easy-to-understand steps to help you create a retirement income you can't outlive.
The big deal is how are you going to pay your bills?
Grow My Retirement, Saturday afternoons at 2 here on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and you'll have to wait until spring to get the outside of your house painted, but winter, perfect opportunity to get your interior painted. You know, people walk into my kitchen and ask, Amy, did you get new cabinets? No, I save myself thousands of dollars by simply having them painted by the experts at CertaPro Painters. So cross the first project off your 2019 to-do list. CertaPro Painters will ensure a beautiful transformation of your home And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered. In-home with a color consultation or online with their color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting. You do life.
Don't miss Dr. Duke Pesta, one of America's foremost authorities on the dangers of Common Core education. Hosted by Kingswood Academy in Darien on Friday evening, January 25th at 6:30.
Message and data
Dr.
rates may
Pesta
apply.
will reveal the chilling truth behind the Common Core national educational standards. You won't want to miss this special presentation exposing the real truths about Common Core. Register to hear Dr. Pesta at kingswoodacademy.org. That's kingswoodacademy.org.
Hi, I'm Glenn Papura, principal at Kingswood Academy. We're a Catholic grade school that uses a virtue-based curriculum. We believe in forming each child's intellect and character through classical literature, Latin, and logical reasoning, while also giving due attention to math and the sciences. In our morally sound and spiritually enriching environment, children learn to think for themselves and benefit from a low teacher-to-student ratio. I invite you to attend our open house on Sunday, January 27th. For more information, visit kingswoodacademy.org. That's kingswoodacademy.org.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chris Veldman of ServiceMaster DSI, the largest ServiceMaster franchise in the United States and a customer of Signature Bank. In our business, we respond to disaster, and we never know when disaster will strike, whether it's flooding in Louisiana or a house fire in Chicago. Not all banks understand that need for flexibility, but Signature Bank does. That's why we consider them so much more than a bank. They have been our business partner since 2006, when their three co-founders, Mick, Kevin, and Brian, started the bank. Signature Bank is a key part of our growth strategy at ServiceMaster DSI.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Message and data rates may apply.
Guys, got hair loss? I know what you're thinking. Should I shave my head? Comb it over? Wear a hat? Just stop. This isn't 1970. Keep your hair and your confidence because Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration expert, can give you your real hair back permanently. Check them out today because they're giving away an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card to everyone who texts GROW to 85850. Dude, you don't have to look like your dad because this isn't your dad's hair loss treatment. People all over the country trust Bosley because they're ahead of the curve. They use the latest technology to give you your real hair back. And the best part, Bosley's permanent solution is protected by the Bosley Guarantee. Let them show you for free how awesome your hair could look with an absolutely free information kit and a gift card for $250 off. Text GROW to 85850. Ask about the Bosley Guarantee, GROW to 85850.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
The checks are not in the mail. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. 800,000 federal workers won't be paid today or in the coming days.
It's an abysmal situation.
We are not here to debate the value of the wall. That's for the politicians to decide.
They were out protesting in Colorado, but on day 21 of the partial government shutdown, there's no compromise in Congress. Democrats still call it a manufactured crisis, refusing to fund a wall. President Trump went to the border to make his case. Fox's Jared Halpern, live in McAllen, Texas.
Some Republicans in Congress are now urging President Trump to use executive authority and declare a national emergency to begin border wall construction. It's something President Trump told reporters at the border he has every right to do.
We're already building, but now we would be able to carry the construction through. We actually have a fantastic design that's going to be efficient and fast and really, really work well.
The president concedes the move could trigger legal challenges, but he says he's confident the administration would prevail. Dave.
Jared, they prayed for this in Wisconsin. A 13-year-old girl missing since October, found alive. Fox's Jeff Manasso live in Wisconsin.
Dave, Jamie Kloss walked away from one of her captors last night in Gordon, Wisconsin, looking skinny and dirty and wearing shoes that were too big. The 13-year-old approached a neighbor saying, "I am Jamie Kloss, help me." 3 months after she was kidnapped and her parents were murdered inside their home in Barron, about an hour south from where she was found. Family members are overjoyed.
It's crazy, great emotions that you can't explain.
One person's in custody, Dave, and we're awaiting an update from the sheriff.
And Jeff, they're mourning a rookie cop murdered in Davis, California. Natalie Corona was shot while responding to a car crash.
Natalie is 22 years old and is survived by her parents.
Police Chief Darren Pytel, the suspected gunman, was found dead, likely killed himself. Inflation was not a problem last month. Consumer prices dropped 0.1% overall because we were paying a lot less at the gas pump. This is Fox News.
Skies are gray. We have 22 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. The National Weather Service issuing a winter storm watch for parts of central and southern Illinois with as much as 7 inches of snow in that forecast. 1 to 3 inches expected to fall over the weekend in and around the Chicago area. Police are investigating following allegations that an Evanston Township High School employee may have had inappropriate contact with students. Authorities have not specified the employee's sex or role at the high school. A young girl is dead, 2 adults critically hurt following a crash on Lower Wacker Drive. Police say a Mazda 3 hit an Acura, making a U-turn early this morning. The Mazda then struck a wall, causing a girl inside to be thrown from the vehicle. Prosecutors in Chicago continue to urge anyone to come forward with claims of sexual assault against R&B singer R. Kelly. The call to action comes after that Lifetime docuseries, Surviving R. Kelly. Alice Clary says her daughter, Azriel, was an aspiring singer who went to live with Kelly the day she graduated from high school.
Literally, soon as she turned 18, it was like communication started dying and dwindling.
In 2008, Kelly was tried and acquitted in a Chicago courtroom of having sex with an underage girl. Chicago sports. Xavier Simpson scored 16 to lead number 4 Michigan to a win over Illinois at State Farm Center, 79-69. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, you may be seeing 3 new iPhones from Apple this year. The Wall Street Journal says one of the new devices will be a successor to the XR, which has had disappointing sales. Among the changes, new cameras. You could own a piece of Slack Technologies, the workplace app company. It's planning to go public in the coming months. JetBlue Airways says it was flying fewer passengers per plane in December. The airline has been expanding and was not able to fill all the new seats. Using someone else's Netflix password, now there's technology to cut you off. UK-based startup Cinemedia has developed an artificial intelligence tool that allows Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and other streaming companies to detect whether their users are sharing passwords. A recent survey found 26% of millennials are using a password from someone else's streaming account. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
It's 8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
On Tuesday, January 29th, President Donald Trump will deliver his second State of the Union address to Congress, to the country, and to the world. And AM 560, The Answer, is throwing a party, and you're invited. It's a taste of freedom, a State of the Union viewing party presented by HealthInsuranceMentors.com at Belvedere Banquets in Elk Grove Village. Enjoy dinner and drinks with fellow AM 560 listeners as you watch the president's speech. Tickets start at just $64 and are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/taste. Sponsored in part by Storlock.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I thought I had a sinus headache for a few days, but I had a massive brain aneurysm, hemorrhage of the brain, and a stroke. And I was on my deathbed. I was on a respirator in a coma for 35 days. And 3 months later, I came home in a wheelchair. I had double vision. I had to learn to walk again, to speak again. 1 and 1 is 2, write the alphabet. You know, if I went out and did a little something, I'd come home, I'd be in bed. Now I'm up by like 5:30 in the morning, and I go to the gym. I do shopping. I cook. I have energy all day. I mean, I feel great. overall, my whole outlook, just feeling, my mental aspect, everything is better.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money. Easy to learn, easy to use, small business software tailored just for you. With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Start out the new year with brand new custom window treatments from Blinds.com. Cellular shades, wood blinds, Roman shades, and more. Whatever you have in mind, they can help you reimagine one room or your entire home for less than almost any other home improvement. Go to Blinds.com now through January 15th for a guaranteed 25% off with promo code LIGHT. Get a guaranteed 25% off with promo code LIGHT. Rules and restrictions apply.
8:07, and to check on our morning roads, we get that from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center and Jim Talamonte.
The tollways have been light all morning. We do see brief delays now. The northbound tri-state from 47th to 31st, and from the Reagan tollway to the Eisenhower. The other Illinois tollways are fine. Indiana Toll Road has westbound delays from the Portage interchange to past 94. It's a crash blocking 2 right lanes. Hayden's is 19 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose outbound 30. Kennedy, 36 minutes. O'Hare to downtown takes longer in the express lanes. Outbound 32 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower, 38 minutes, 390 to downtown, 24 from Manheim, outbound 31 to 390. Stevenson, 44 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 16 minutes, 80 to the Merge. Bishop, 426. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
More clouds today than the sunshine, the high 36. Clouds and a bit of snow toward dawn. Tonight, little or no accumulation, low 28. For tomorrow, some snow accumulating and coating to an inch, high 33. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Gray skies and 22 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and you got to read this guy. We've had him on the show before. Crispin Sartwell, he's an associate professor of philosophy at Dickinson College. His book is Entanglements, A System of Philosophy, and he's penned another good op-ed in the Wall Street Journal this week about Facebook. He poses the question, Mark Zuckerberg or Chinese President Xi Jinping, who do you choose? He chooses Zuckerberg, and he'll explain why. Crispin Sartwell, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Good to be here, Dan.
So what's worse than Facebook? And your answer is the Chinese government. It's a pretty low bar or high bar, depending on your perspective. But why do you choose Zuckerberg over President Xi?
Well, okay. I mean, this is people have been freaking out about social media companies and Facebook, Apple, Google, etc. And I think we should be worried about them in various ways, and what's happening to our information, and then also the disinformation and so on that comes through these platforms and stuff. But I think that sort of obviously the biggest threat on the internet is governments, okay, in terms of hacking, in terms of launching viruses, in terms of surveillance, and in terms of disinformation. All right. So, and the obvious model of it is the Chinese government now, which has really instituted an extent of control over communications that's unprecedented, and is, generating this social credit system where they're monitoring all your communications and rating your conformity and rewarding or penalizing you for it. Now, that strikes me as a much greater kind of threat overall than anything Facebook or Google could do with your information.
Right, and so this is and this is relevant. Of course, we've had the hearings with the various social media CEOs, including Zuckerberg last year.
Yes,
and people are rightly concerned about privacy and
indeed,
and contract integrity. You say you're doing this, but you're or not doing this,
yes,
but you're not being honest with me. So we understand.
Absolutely.
We should understand Facebook, Twitter, et cetera. We're the product. But you're suggesting it's better that we're the product privately than it is we're the product from the state's perspective.
Yeah, roughly. I mean, I think we need to be concerned with both, and we definitely need to be concerned with the intersection of the two. So that, I think that you're going to see more and more regulation of Facebook and, other such companies. And then almost a merger of this kind of, surveillance apparatus and personal information gathering apparatus. And, so, the other thing is that Zuckerberg really has seemed quite incompetent, okay?
Yeah.
He's kind of this vague tech boy. There always seem to be a year behind the problems that they're generating or whatever. And, in a way, I'm happier with that kind of incompetence than sort of the implacable, gigantic bureaucracy that China is generating, with some of the same kinds of goals, I suppose.
Because the market punishes incompetence.
Yes, I hope so eventually.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that is a question right now, right? Like, what would Facebook have to do to go out of business? You know what I mean? Like, what degree of incompetence could they manifest that would drive them out of business? But yes, I'd like to see market forces. I think in principle, market forces are capable of correcting some of those problems, but they're definitely not capable. Nothing is capable of correcting the kinds of problems on the internet that the Chinese government is generating.
Right.
There is no mechanism by which, you can't boycott it. You can't take your business elsewhere. So yeah, I think we're better off in a free market atmosphere to the extent that we have that, but because we have these really monopolistic companies, it's coming down to just a few companies, and that's probably not the best situation.
As a philosophy professor, you're charged with answering the question, what is truth? And I
no problem.
Yeah, and I know you've written on this topic very interestingly. But I wanted to get your reaction to a statement that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez made on Sunday night in her interview on 60 Minutes with Anderson Cooper, where she was sort of softly challenged by Anderson about the things that she has said that have been like wildly factually incorrect, like things like the Pentagon budget being off by a factor of 25.
Right. What did she say? $21 trillion or something like that?
Right. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And her response was essentially, it's more important to be morally right on the issue than it is to be technically correct.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like a lot of our discourse is along those lines. And, you could say morally right, or you could say rhetorically convincing. Like, in other words, I think she's not just misstating facts. She's trying to convince people with misstatements of fact. But that's not only happening on her side of the spectrum. Let's put it that way.
Right. Sure.
Yeah,
but the cultural implications of that in our political discourse.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I think it's impossible and disgusting, really. I mean, if you don't have a factual basis for policymaking, and if you actually regard that as irrelevant, I don't really want to listen to anything you say after that. I mean, I don't know what problems you think you're going to address, or I don't trust what you're telling me about maybe even the results of some kind of policy change or whatever. So I think that if someone really reveals that they are indifferent to the truth, I would simply stop listening to them. They continue to make factual claims, right? They continue to tell you what they believe or whatever in terms of like what the situation is on the ground that they're trying to address. So they seem to be making assertions, but I wouldn't even interpret that. They're telling you that they don't even care about whether what they're saying is true. At that point, they should just be kind of waved off, I think.
Right. You would hope there would be a market correction there, too.
Yeah.
I wanted to check back with you, like do a little bit of a stop, look, and listen to where you think we're at in the denunciad. You wrote an op-ed a couple of years ago that I really enjoyed. And actually, another academic, you probably know, Anthony Esolen, writes about the same topic in his latest book, Out of the Ashes. And he talks about truly tolerant people are hard to offend because they're not looking to score points. They're not looking to bring others into ill repute. He writes, an owl is not offended by the little field mouse. It's just what the owl is on the lookout for. And the difference is in the denunciad, as you wrote about, we are on the lookout to be offended, and thus we're offended, and it becomes this spiraling. And I wonder if you think that since you opined on that topic, things are improving or continuing to deteriorate.
Oh, I think it continues to deteriorate. Although I do think there's a little correction happening. Like, for example, I mean, a really good example of this whole thing was the Kevin Hart flap on the Oscars.
Yeah.
And to the point now where they're basically like they're lost. No one can host the Oscars. I don't think anyone. I doubt that anyone can really reach the degree of purity necessary to host the Oscars, and probably no one has a good enough multiracial, multisexual identity. To be the host of the Oscars and represent everyone correctly or something, or whatever is demanded. But yeah, I mean, so I think it has become automatic. So you uncover these tweets by Hart, you expose them, you demand an apology. He kind of ritually apologizes, or, who knows exactly what happened there. I haven't been paying that close attention. But then I think it's a little encouraging that in this case, it doesn't just seem to be, okay, that's the end of your career, or come back in 2 years and try for a comeback or something like that. At least there's some defense. There's some sense of, okay, I think for one reason is that people like Kevin Hart.
Yeah, well, right. Yeah, yeah. Your likability factor matters a lot. The different standards attached. But on this point, though, speaking of Kevin Hart, he's in this new movie with Bryan Cranston. I think it's actually getting worse, and I think there is not so much of a correction going on. Yes, Kevin Hart survived.
Yeah.
He had some intemperate tweets or whatever, although he is a comedian. But Bryan Cranston is out defending himself as an actor playing a man in a wheelchair because he's not actually in a wheelchair.
Yes.
And it's like, do you understand the concept of an actor? So
absolutely.
So to me, that's the kind of stuff that's really concerning.
Yes, I agree with that completely. Yeah, and I mean, I kind of think of it as the representation wars. So the idea is that every movie has to kind of perfectly represent American demographics. Every actor has to be selected in terms of their own identity and so on. It's impossible. It's with authors as well. Like, could I write a fictional character who's in a wheelchair?
Right.
See, that, if I was building my next novel around a character like that, okay, that's just an excellent, if I could do that well, I would be a fine novelist. But I would definitely get condemned by, for purporting to represent or embody a community that I don't. But of course, I never purported that at all. As you say, like Bryan Cranston is an actor. That's exactly what we used to reward actors for being able to do. Enter into the experience of someone who is disabled and present it so that we can understand it. I think it's getting absurd.
How much is higher ed the responsible party and perhaps the source of some correction?
Well, I'm not sure. I'll say this, that idea that all representations are potentially threatening, and every representation has to be kind of, whether it's a book or a professor's lecture or a movie or whatever, has to be perfectly calibrated demographically and so on. That rages on college campuses now. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's more intense there than in the culture as a whole. I'm not sure if it emerged from there or if it just kind of, came there and and settled in. But it's really extreme. And, so any movie that you're showing at the student union or whatever is liable to be examined multiply in that way and protested perhaps, and things like that. And one thing I think is that people are just really quite confused about the relation of representation to reality. So I think you could get all the representations exactly politically correct. Like, say you had just all movies were perfectly demographically arranged and all the actors were the right sorts of people and so on. I don't think that would solve any of the problems of the society. And I think that's been demonstrated historically. So, for example, like in the Soviet Union, all you're getting is the portrayal of inspiring workers marching victoriously into a future bright with promise, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Every medium, all the time. That didn't make it true. That just made all those presentations grotesquely false, right? That didn't change the situation on the ground. Like, we're not going to solve American racism with the right movies, okay?
Right.
Yeah, and I think people really misunderstand this. Like, it just seems obvious to me that that's not the most effective mode of activism, or not where the problem lies, really.
He is Crispin Sartwell. He's associate professor of philosophy at Dickinson College, and his book, Entanglements, A System of Philosophy. Also check out his piece on Facebook and the Chinese government, the Wall Street Journal. Crispin, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Dan. Appreciate it.
Take care. And he joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey everyone, Carrie here. For years, you've heard my husband, Ken,
hello, Radioland,
explain how Income Store is the place for your next revenue stream. Not to date ourselves, but Ken and I have been helping individuals and businesses grow their revenue since before the internet was even a thing. We've heard countless stories as to why people look to increase their revenue.
Some stories make us laugh, some make us cry.
These stories, combined with our own, have motivated Ken and I to dedicate our lives to help people, as Ken says, who need a revenue shot in the backside.
Whether you want to just learn how or simply put, you need to generate revenue today. Our mission is to serve both.
Our worldwide staff of over 150 help to create amazing resources, our most famous being the iTunes podcast.
Today's growth. You got to check out episode 383. It's truly amazing.
And both Inc. and Forbes have shared that when it comes to generating revenue, Income Store is a can't miss. To grow your revenue today, check out IncomeStore.com.
That's IncomeStore.com.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and you'll have to wait until spring to get the outside of your house painted, but winter, perfect opportunity to get your interior painted. People walk into my kitchen and ask, Amy, did you get new cabinets? No, I save myself thousands of dollars by simply having them painted by the experts at CertaPro Painters. So cross the first project off your 2019 to-do list. CertaPro Painters will ensure a beautiful transformation of your home. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered. In-home with a color consultation or online with their color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Food for the Poor is supported by Northwestern University's Master of Product Design and Development Management program. If you're thinking about an MBA, but your passion is in product design and development, Northwestern University's Master of Product Design and Development Management program is for you. It's a 2-year part-time management program for working professionals who aspire for leadership roles in product design and development. Register now for the info session in downtown Chicago, January 16th, or the open house in Evanston on January 19th. Northwestern's MPD is acclaimed by Businessweek as one of the top design thinking programs in the world. MPD prepares you for leadership in the product design and development world better than any other business management program, balancing management teachings with advanced design and development. Visit mpd.northwestern.edu. That's mpd.northwestern.edu.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-600-4850. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-600-4850. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-600-4850. 1-800-600-4850.
AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning. So, you know how House Democrats largely were successful, including those here in the suburbs of Chicago, defeating Peter Roskam and Randy Hultgren. The issue of health care. The demagoguery of the left about the Republicans' position on health insurance for pre-existing conditions, people with pre-existing conditions. So what about, and look, Republicans deserve some blame for being back on their heels on that issue like they are on so many issues. But where are we with Obamacare at this point? Well, here's where we're at. You've got newly ascendant House Democrats moving for the formal front door takeover of health care provision by the government. This piece in the Wall Street Journal this week, John Yarmuth, who's a Democrat member of the House from Kentucky and the new House Budget Committee chairman, asked Congress's top economists to sketch out the options for a government takeover of America's health insurance and, by extension, healthcare system. He wants to enact the Canadian-style system, single payer, before patients and taxpayers understand exactly what it is they're losing, not dissimilar to what House and Senate Democrats did with President Obama. The memorialization of Yarmouth's memo to Congress's top economist, he acknowledges that the coverage and cost control promised by Obamacare didn't materialize. Yarmouth admits that many Americans are still uninsured and still struggle to afford their health care costs, which is a grand concession from a Democrat. He's not exploring market competition, of course, because he's looking for that takeover. This letter, Yarmouth asked for many details about how a government-run system might be structured and administered, but he makes it clear he's in no hurry to be informed on one particular aspect of the system, the cost, right? The cost that neither Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or Comrade Bernie wanted to address either, although they haven't quarreled with the $33 trillion estimated price tag on what they have proposed. In a related story, while they're pushing for the Canadian-style system, Washington Examiner reporting last year, this is Sally Pipes, who writes on healthcare for a long time. Last year, Canadians waited a median of almost 20 weeks to receive specialist treatment after being referred by a general practitioner. 20 weeks, 5 months. Canada's single-payer system prohibits private insurance for medically necessary procedures. 20 weeks of waiting is bad enough, but in some areas in Canada, they fare even worse. The median wait for a treatment from a specialist following a referral from a GP in New Brunswick, for example, is nearly a year. It's the old P.J. O'Rourke joke about single-payer healthcare, government-run Healthcare. The good news about that gallbladder surgery you need, it's free. The bad news is you're not going to get it. Coming up at 8:38, how academia turned on a whistleblower. Dr. Peter Boghossian joins us to discuss, but now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Gray skies, 22 degrees at 8:31. The search for a gunman who killed a police officer in Northern California is over. Police say he was found dead inside of a home in Davis, California, of what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Davis Police Chief Darren Pytel says his department is in shock.
I haven't seen anybody work harder in a part-time capacity and be more motivated to be a police officer than Natalie. She's just an absolute star in the department.
It came down to just hours after that person who appeared to be killed of a self-inflicted gunshot wound opened fire on that officer who was responding to a 3-car crash near the downtown area of Davis last night. U.S. military troops are starting to make their exit from Syria. Spokesman for the U.S.-led group fighting ISIS in the Middle East said troops and equipment are beginning to be withdrawn. It's the first time a handful of federal government employees will not receive paychecks as the partial government shutdown continues. Around 800,000 have been impacted since December 22nd. The National Weather Service issuing a winter storm watch for parts of central and southern Illinois, where they could get hit by as much as 7 inches of snow. The Chicago area could be painted with 1 to 3 inches of snow late Friday into Saturday evening. A young girl is dead, 2 adults seriously hurt. It follows a crash on Lower Wacker Drive early this morning in Chicago, police tell us. A Mazda struck an Acura making a U-turn on West Lower Wacker Drive. The Mazda then hit a wall, causing a girl inside to be thrown from the vehicle. 2 are wounded following a drive-by shooting on Chicago's South Side near 50th and Drexel. Chicago sports, Xavier Simpson, 16. Number 4 Michigan topped the Fighting Illini 79-69 at State Farm Center. UIC a win over Youngstown State, and Western Illinois defeated by North Dakota State. The Bulls continue their 5-game road trip tonight against the defending champion Warriors. The news, a service of Discover. Get your free credit scorecard today, even if you're not a Discover customer. It includes your FICO credit score, and checking your scorecard won't hurt your credit. Learn more at discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager backs the president's convictions.
Reality trumps Trump. He had no convictions of which I was aware, and I opposed him vociferously when he was running for the nomination for president. Since he's been president, he has been a man of conservative convictions, the likes of which I have only seen once in my lifetime in a leader called Ronald Reagan.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Let's think about customization presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty Mutual customizes your auto insurance so you only pay for what you need. So why aren't more things in life customizable? Like, why do I have to pay a full gym membership when I don't even use all the equipment? Like the rowing machine. I don't know about you, but I'm not doing a ton of manual lake travel these days.
Go to libertymutual.com for a customized quote and you could save.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Equal housing insurer.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years.
He was in big trouble.
We're going to take your house, garnish your pay.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm, and rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau.
I don't owe the IRS anymore. It was because of Optima Tax.
Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-709-7022. 800-709-7022.
Optima Tax Relief.
For details, visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I had cancer. I have fibromyalgia. I have nerve damage and fatigue. I have thalassemia. I'm hypoglycemic. So my life since cancer, I've had to learn how to live with it. But starting Balance of Nature, I felt it the first month. I felt different. It made such a difference that, Now I wake up, my head feels clearer, I have more energy. Very rarely does my body cramp up anymore. It's the best thing. It's just amazing. I don't know what to say. I just would not be what I am today if I didn't start Balance of Nature.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
8:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
The inbound side of the Kennedy Expressway, traffic is stop and go from Kimball to the Hubbard Tunnel. It's 40 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 30 from Montrose, 33 in the Express, plus delays on the Ohio feeder. Outbound, it's 30 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Edens is fine inbound. Outbound, there's a 5-minute delay, Peterson to Toohey. On Eisenhower, the slow pockets start around St. Charles. 40 minutes, 390 to downtown. 26 from Manheim, outbound 34 minutes to 390. Stevenson, 41 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 34. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57 clear. Nation Forward, 25 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Westbound Tri-State, slow 47th, 31st. It's on Reagan Tollway, 22nd Tri-State. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, more clouds than sun will top out at 36. A bit of snow as we head toward daybreak tomorrow. Little or no accumulation on the ground at that time. Low 28. An inch to 3 inches of snow in the area tomorrow. High of 33. Most of that snow accumulation south of I-80. 22 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. About 2 decades ago, physics professor at NYU, Alan Sokol, did a bit of a sting with respect to all of these academic journals submitting basically fictional research work and seeing if it would get published, to expose the lack of intellectual rigor with some of these journals and some of these intellectuals that are otherwise given great deference because of their credentials. We talked about this last quarter of last year. A group of academics did the same thing. What they did is submitted papers under the grievance studies rubric to have the same, to make the same exposures, or at least to test to see if there is rigor with respect to these journals in assessing the quality of the research that's submitted for publication. For example, and I mean also if anybody's even reading anything, or if they are, what is going through their minds. One article that was submitted to an academic journal by this group of academics, essentially operating as undercover intellectual agents, if you will. Human reactions to rape culture and queer performativity at urban dog parks in Portland, Oregon. As a couple of academics who wrote on behalf of Peter Borgosian, who's a professor at Portland State University, said of Dog Park, that was by far the silliest of our papers, which was a point we always intended to reveal in full to the public once our audit was completed. In it, we claimed, extremely implausibly, to have examined 10,000 dogs' genitals before interrogating their owners about their sexual orientations. The response is as absurd as the premise of the paper. some academics, they report, claiming that the problem with the paper isn't that we didn't is that we didn't actually examine the dog's genitals by the thousands. The only problem they have with the topic is the lack of legitimate data, that they didn't do the work, if you will. It's remarkable. So you would think exposing fraud, right? If you're propagating fraud through your own lack of due diligence, that's exposing fraud. These people who make decisions, publication decisions for these academic journals, particularly this whole research area of grievance studies. You think you'd be rewarded for that. People would be shamed. There'd be some accountability. There'd be new protocols put in place, especially since we've been here before, like with the Sokol incident, as I mentioned. And if you think that, you think whistleblowers or undercover academics interested in the integrity of academic journals, if you think they'd be rewarded, that's where you'd be wrong. The aforesaid Peter Boghossian is being disciplined by Portland State University, and at least as of the writing of this article I read on the topic, he potentially faces termination. He is a professor of critical thinking, science, and pseudoscience, and the philosophy of education and atheism at Portland State University. Peter Boghossian, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me on. Good morning, Chicago.
Good morning. So did I fairly summarize this whole timeline of what you and your colleagues did and where you currently stand?
Yeah, you did a pretty good job. So there are a lot of moving parts to this. So
yeah.
We saw a problem in the academy, and we tried to talk to folks about it, but they were entrenched in this dogma, which really has a strong ideological grip on the academy, and it's starting to spill out into the academy. We saw a problem with scholarship that wasn't rigorous and that was corrupted. So we wrote 20 papers in a year, James Lindsay, Helen Pluckrose, and I, each one more preposterous, more asinine, and more ludicrous than the next.
Stiff competition.
And
whoever came up with Dog Park, clearly the winner.
Oh, thanks. Well, it was all of us as a team effort, but I go to the dog park every day. It is true that was a very, very silly and ludicrous paper, but really the other papers, fat bodybuilding, that there should be a space in traditional bodybuilding for morbidly obese people to come in. That was one that I don't know. I don't know how much I can say on the air, but that men should self-penetrate and experience that with their girlfriends so they'll be less transphobic. That was one. But there were others that were all ludicrous about, a gender scholar goes to Hooters and the dialogue in that.
Yeah.
Was
I like the fat bodybuilder thing because it reminds me of Chris Farley and Patrick Swayze on Saturday Night Live when they're both Chippendales dancers. We've actually come to that as legitimate academic exploration now that used to be just a bit on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, and it's a shame because that's eroding the confidence and the trust in our academic institutions, right? So we'd like to have a place or a canon of literature, a body of knowledge where we can say, hey, we know this. And how do we know this? We know this because it was studied and people tried to falsify it, and it's just, it's a scientific method. But those mechanisms aren't in place in these journals. And as a consequence of this, people really have eroded trust have their trust eroded in public institutions.
And so you've been brought before some Star Chamber at Portland State University for crimes against academia. Explain.
Professional misconduct, yeah. So I was found guilty of not seeking IRB approval. IRB is basically human subjects whenever you want to use human subjects. So even though there were no dogs, we didn't actually obviously look at any dog's genitals and interrogate their owners as to their sexual orientation, but the IRB was claiming that the reviewers of the journal are the human subjects. But I want to say that I actually sympathize with the administration situation. I don't know what kind of pressure they're under behind the scenes, but there was an anonymous public letter by I think 10 or 11 or 12 of my colleagues. They wouldn't even sign their name to it. It's basically a hit piece in the school newspaper. And I think if that's anything to go by, it's significant. So PSU really does need to make a decision, right? So they either need to use their institution of power to support me and the pursuit of truth, right? Because these folks have placed an agenda before the truth, an ideological and political agenda, or they side with the grievance studies bullies and the people who are pressing them behind the scenes.
Well, and so you said you've been found guilty. So are you're facing termination, as I understand it? Is that a possibility?
That can be. Look, fabrication of data is a very, very serious academic offense, as is plagiarism. You know, we plagiarized Mein Kampf, Hitler's book.
Well, right. And, but I mean, yeah, right.
I'll cop to that one. I'm guilty to that. So, you know, we plagiarized Mein Kampf and we wrote it as a feminist text.
Right.
But these are very, very serious charges.
yeah.
So I probably shouldn't be laughing, but but it is really serious. I could face potential termination.
Well, it's serious because it's just through the looking glass. This is crazy, and I note some of your supporters too. I mean, this is not you mentioned ideology at the beginning, the ideology of the grievance studies folks. This is not like left-right ideology. I noticed that people supporting you include, the noted atheist Richard Dawkins has written a letter on your behalf.
Yeah, well, I'm an atheist too, so I don't.
Well, okay, well there you go. Even more to my point.
Yeah, so here's what's really interesting. Letters of support from everybody. It's so amazing. Students, academics, high-profile intellectuals, they're just flooding into PSU, and I really can't keep up. So these folks fully support our grievance studies probe because they're just fed up with this corruption of scholarship. And they're sick of university administrators supporting this cadre of bullies who operate in these disciplines. So they're saying enough is enough. And the interesting thing is that they're now putting their names on these letters, so they're not scared anymore. These people have bullied everyone in calling them racist, alt-right, Nazi, homophobe, sexist, misogynist, and people are tired of it. I'm tired of it.
Do you think that incidents like yours, but even the evolution of this, the mugging of Brett Weinstein at Evergreen State, Brett Weinstein, Jonathan Haidt, some of these other people that are getting together who are not, conservatives like me, but they believe in academic freedom and the integrity of the education and the scholarship. Do you think that is actually turning the tide at all on college campuses?
That's a very, very difficult question. I don't know. Brett's a very good friend of mine, and I just had drinks with him the other night. I don't know the answer to that question. We've talked about that extensively. I do want to say it is irrelevant to me that you are a conservative and I am a liberal.
Yeah.
You have conservative views, and any views that don't adhere to the dominant moral orthodoxy aren't welcome on campus anymore. And I want to hear your views, and I want to engage you publicly, and I want students to engage those views as well. And what we're seeing happen right now is that there is a dominant moral orthodoxy on university campuses, and if anybody doesn't toe the party line, they can't ask questions. And so conservatives are then losing trust in the university system, right?
Yes.
Liberals and conservatives who are there feel isolated and marginalized. And that's exactly the opposite of the way they should feel, because we should have a diversity of thought. So that's not what these folks are talking about when they throw out the word diversity and safe spaces and trigger warnings. So the other problem with that is that liberals, people who hold liberal views, and I want to say one more thing, people who hold liberal views, they don't get their views challenged. They only hear one side of the issue. So they become brittle in their ways of dealing with things. So they, cry, or they're offended, or they call you names, or they run away, but they don't engage the arguments, right?
Yeah, and it would seem to me that an additional problem, too, that's maybe underappreciated, get your reaction, is you're going to lose great intellectuals because they're not going to want to be in environments like this where you can be fired or have to go through this ordeal that you're going through because you're trying to properly expose less than quality scholarship.
That's correct. And I think it's really important to know that it doesn't matter what side of the aisle the scholarship is coming from. Like, phonology, this bumps on the head thing, when people used to believe that you can make inferences about someone's intelligence and personality from bumps on the head, studying bumps on the head. So if a bunch of liberals get together and they start propagating this ridiculous, belief system of phrenology, if I say, hey, wait a minute, there's not enough evidence for that, that doesn't make me a conservative. That just makes me a guy who thinks there's not enough evidence for phonology, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what we have now is we have entire disciplines that have been corrupted academically. And as you mentioned, as Brett said, he calls it idea laundering. This is just the perfect description. So a bunch of people get together. They have these strong moral impulses. Like, they really feel something. They don't know what to do about it. So they start journals and they launder their ideas. It starts as an idea. They put it through a peer-reviewed journal, and on the other side it comes out knowledge. Then they take those papers that come out, and they not only do they teach kids in class, our college kids, but when they're asked how they know something, unlike the Christian who says, well, I know it, I have my faith, these people point to their canon of scholarship. Well, this is how we know. But the problem is that those canons of scholarship are corrupted. Those papers are illegitimate. And what we did is we delegitimized those canons by showing that they're just preposterous.
Idea laundering. I do like that a lot. I think that's a great description of what's happening. He's Dr. Peter Boghossian. You're an evolutionary biologist, yes?
No, I teach philosophy at Portland State University at the moment. I teach philosophy at Portland State University.
Okay, at the moment. Professor of critical thinking philosophy at Portland State University, and also too, were you an elected official in Oregon?
Yeah, I was a councilman for the state libraries, and I served on the prison advisory committee. I did my dissertation and then on how to improve the critical thinking and moral reasoning of prison inmates, and then I later ran for a little local office, or I don't even know if office is the right word, but a position here at Columbia River Correctional Institution.
No, interesting. Okay. All right. Well, good luck to you with respect to the disciplinary action you're facing at Portland State. We'll be following your story. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
He joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're serious about improving your home, why not make it easy? Don't miss the free Oakbrook Home and Garden Show, January 19th and 20th at the Drury Lane Theater and Event Center. Come see hundreds of the latest home products and services for thousands of the freshest ideas to remodel, repair, and beautify your home. Speak with local and national experts who are eager to help you find the best solution for all your home improvement needs. You'll find everything for your home, from the ultimate in-outdoor furniture to the latest and greatest home appliances. And don't miss one of the many free, informative seminars running throughout the weekend, including expert advice on the latest in kitchen design presented by award-winning Normandy Remodeling. From interiors to exteriors, from decor to outdoor, you'll find all at the Home and Garden Show, January 19th and 20th at Drury Lane, just north of the Oakbrook Shopping Center, with free admission and free valet parking. For more details, please visit oakbrookhomeshow.com. That's oakbrookhomeshow.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggie capsules contain 100% vine-ripened fruits and vegetables, tested pure with no pesticides, fillers, or additives of any kind. And it is undeniably one of the most effective whole food supplements on the market today. You might ask, how can over 10 servings of 31 fruits and vegetables fit into 6 vegetarian capsules? Fruits and vegetables are on an average 85% water, some a little higher, some a little lower. Balance of Nature uses cold vacuum technology to take out the water and air, leaving only whole food, which maintains 99.9% of its original nutritional value. Along with diet and